yeah. Do this. Do this. One moment, everybody, please. One moment. Yes. Okay. That's right, Roth. Radical defect? I don't know. We're going to find out together. Red Souza, that's funny. Very funny. Let me... Hi, Tater Tot. Let me angle this down a little bit. For now. Okay. Get this out of there. Get this up here. 3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, episode 1010, the Iron Leaves Podcast. Let me tell you about Iron Leaves, and then I'll tell you about today's show. Iron Leaves. Many of Iron Leaves' physical characteristics match those of a, Parisian from the future that was covered in a paranormal magazine. As someone who watches a lot of anime, I've noticed they talk about paranormal magazines a lot. I guess they're very popular in Japan, or were, or maybe still are. I don't know. Pretty interesting. It's 4'11", 275 pounds. Gender is unknown. Thank you for putting it in the Discord, Retsuza and Kalas. Category is Paradox, and the abilities include Quark Drive, boosts the Pokemon's most proficient stat on electric terrain, or if the Pokemon is holding booster energy. Thank you for listening to the Pokemon. I'm happy to bring it to you. Why am I bringing it to you? Well, here's how it goes. I don't know if you know this about weathermen, but, I don't want to knock them, but it seems like a pretty sweet gig because you never got to, oh, you're over here. You never got to get anything right. If you get it wrong, it doesn't really matter. So for the last few days, the weather has been saying it's going to be a wintry mix, very slight, nothing going on, blah, 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 blah. And the last, I'm going to say 3 times when the weather was like, big storm, you're going to die. We got nothing or next to nothing. So this time I was like, are they going to be right? Is it going to be nothing? And it wasn't nothing. We got maybe 3 to 4 inches out there. And it didn't start when they said it was going to start, and it didn't end when they said it was going to end, and it made a big mess. So unfortunately, to keep them, not unfortunately, fortunately, to keep them safe, Deux and Nikki Hill are not here. They wanted to be here, but they're home, snug as a bug in a rug, in their nice warm houses. Safe. We don't want them out on the road. Now, you might be asking yourself, where's MomBrain? Don't RMC and MomBrain live together? We do, podcast listeners, we do. And I am also wondering where she is. I have not seen MomBrain since I got up today. Is she home? Yes, I know she's home because the car is in the garage. She had a big day in the city yesterday. She went out with a friend. They went out at, she left before I even got up. So 10 in the morning or something like that. And she didn't get home until after 1 at night. It was a whole big day. So I'm sure she's very tired. And that's probably why she's still in bed. If I know her, she got up very early. Had some breakfast or whatever, and it was like, I'm just gonna go back to bed and snuggle and watch some TikToks, and then she's been gone ever since. So that's my guess. So will she appear on today's show? There's potential, but who knows? You might be stuck with just me. Um, so I apologize for whatever this becomes because obviously I didn't think this is the way today's show was going to go. But oh no, I didn't want to do that. But here we are, and we'll do with it what we can. If you give me 1 second, I'm trying to fix something on my laptop while I do the show. And as you can tell by me stopping in my speech pattern, I can't do two things at once. Very close, very close. None, apply. Okay. All right, we're good. Focus is back on you. Let me say, oh, of course, NicoDarunia, you're right about that. I'll get to that in a second. But let me say hello to you guys first. Hello, NicoDarunia and Drake and Tater Tot and Retsuza and Kalas and Roth and Radical Defect and Son of a Butt. Malik Halo and Grantimus. And whoever else I didn't see in here, Vachi. Whoa. Thanks for joining me, Ice Dilbert. Thanks for joining me and so far just me on this podcast. I very much appreciate you being here and spending part of your weekend with us. Oh my God, and Loxbox is here, who we know as Music Man. Music Man, I speak your name, or the Royal We speaks your name. I was going to say, you didn't even give me a chance to get to it, Music Man. I was going to say, I know one listener who's going to be upset because this is going to be at most a 2-person show, and that means it probably won't be as long as usual. But listen, we do what we can. Blame it on the weather and blame it on MomBrain. MomBrain's got no excuse. She's, like I said, upstairs somewhere. Tater Tot says, Spud is busy being a Call of Duty bro, but he says hi. Well, then I say hi back and go get them. Go get those bros. Go take out those Call of Duty troublemakers. I've seen lots of them online, and they have filthy mouths, and they are mean and nasty. And Spud is very brave to be out there on the virtual battlefield with them because they are not nice people. Let me say hello to, of course, Josh Grobot, my friend from college days. How are you doing?
Sure, whatever.
Excellent. Josh, what have you been up to? You want to talk, or are you feeling standoffish as usual?
I have a Balatro addiction.
I imagine that's still going well for you, and it takes up a lot of your time.
Minecraft, bro.
Oh, you're playing Minecraft? Hytale is very big right now. Hytale is the one everybody's talking about, which is basically, I think Hytale. Listen, I know a lot about video games. I don't know everything. I think Hytale was made by former Minecraft modders who were unhappy with some of the things in Minecraft, and they set out to make their own version, which is Hytale. And the two games share a lot of the same DNA, but they're different.
Sure, whatever.
Okay, I thought you would know, but I'm happy you're enjoying Balatro and Minecraft. And then of course we have George. George, how are you doing, my friend? Pretty good. Thanks for asking. George, what have you been up to this week? Just tending to the lime farm and eating limes and carrying limes. It's pretty hard to do the farm work when I'm always carrying around limes. George, you don't put the limes down when you're out doing other things? No, these are my babies. I take them with me everywhere. Oh, I didn't know that about you. Oh, they're too precious to me. I can't trust anybody with them, and I don't want them to roll away, so I got to carry them. Man, so one hand constantly carrying limes all the time. That's right. My arm is permanently bent like this. I can't move it any other way. I'm making myself laugh. This is so stupid. Well, George, I mean, I guess that one arm's really strong. If you ever need help doing anything, or if you're feeling extra brave and you want to trust me with carrying those lines, I could take them off. I could take them off your whatever people say. Why can't I think of the phrase? I could take them off you for a little bit, and you could go do you. Oh no, that's good. I mean, they're attached to me, and I'm attached to them. I think they're actually fused to my body right now. Well, George, if anybody is going to carry around limes and be proud of it, it would be you. So congratulations.
Why don't you ask George?
I just did, Josh. I just did. You got to pay attention.
Is this thing on?
All right. I know what you're doing here. All right, everybody. Radical Defect says, Hanky Panky with his gal must be amazing if he never lets go of the line. That's for George and his lady friend to know. Kawa says, "Not even a baby carriage." See, that would make sense. Wheel them around just so you could get a little bit more movement. Ah, they're too dangerous. It might, bouncy, and one of them could fall out by accident, roll down the street, and I'll never get it again, and I'd send me spiraling into depression. I'd never get over it. All right, hey, listen, you're not hurting anybody, and you're just trying to keep those limes safe. So you do you, my friend. Everybody's got their passions, and that's yours. So I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. All right. Let's get to things before I get to news. There was a lot of news this week, actually. It was a busy week. I guess the holiday season, well, holiday season's over, but I guess it's officially over now. We had like the week when everybody came back, and it was a bit of a grace period where everybody was like, well, I'm going back to work, but I don't want to be here, and I'm just going to pretend I'm at work. So things were quieter. But this week, nope, right back into swing of things. But there's something I want to talk about first before we get into, well, a whole bunch of stuff. But one thing before we get into Patreon. Let me take a sip here. So last week, as I said, and I got emotional over, I gotta stop sniffing into the microphone. I apologize. I like how I burp into it, and I'm like, that's fine, but no sniffing, no sniffling. Last week, I got emotional when talking about it, that I had what I believe to be the very first Nintendo-related website interview with AdHoc Studios, the team behind Dispatch, which is coming to Switch and Switch 2 on the 28th of this month, January 20th. Every time I say 28th, I'm like, is that true? That's a Wednesday. You know what? Let me go look just to make sure. I'll tell you sometime around the 28th. But anyway, if you've listened to other episodes of the podcast, you know that I was a very big fan of Dispatch and really enjoyed my time with it. And I think it's one of the greatest games I have ever played for the type of game that it is. It's a top 10 personal favorite of mine. So, and also, if you follow Patreon or you listen to this podcast, you know that I'm really big into superheroes. So that was just an extra bonus. So I wanted to see if I could get an interview with them. And long story short, which it was a long story anyway, I did get an interview with them. It is coming out on the 28th, so that's a Wednesday. Odd day for a release, but I'll take it. So I got an interview with them, and if you were on GoNintendo proper this week, you saw that I shared the interview. Um, I had the chance to chat with Natalie Herman, who is the lead producer on Dispatch, and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff about the game. We got a little bit about the future of Dispatch. I talked to them about potentially using some of the Switch 2 exclusive features. I talked to them about the potential for a physical release. I mean, I could tell, go read the interview if you want to know all the details, but I could tell you some of them. When I asked them about I asked about how long the port's been in the works, blah 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 blah. But yes, when it comes to physical, I said, "Is there any hope for a physical Switch or Switch 2 release down the road?" And Natalie said this quote: "Let's just say we've dreamed of Dispatch in a shiny red case. We have a lot of physical media fans on our team." End quote. So, read between the lines. Sounds like one will certainly happen. And with the game being such a runaway success, last official check-in, we know it sold over 3 million copies. I would imagine there will be a publisher out there who's going to be like, yeah, let's make a physical release happen. Or AdHoc has done well enough that they can set aside some cash to do a physical run on their own. I don't know, whatever. But maybe limited run games, which I know isn't too popular, or maybe what's the other I am 8-bit, maybe a release through I am 8-bit. Who knows? But it sounds like a physical release is in the works. They didn't officially confirm it, but that statement reads very clear to me. Hi, Cumulative. Good to see you. Cumulative. Just because it's me doesn't mean there won't be more tangents. But so anyway, go read the interview. I want to say thank you again to the whole AdHoc team. I want to say thank you to Natalie Herman for taking time out of her day to answer questions. I also want to thank Maria at ICO Partners, because she's the one that facilitated the whole interview coming together. I want to thank you guys for reading it, and that's my parlay into the next part of this. We had a the royal we had a great week on GoNintendo. Like, it was incredible. incredible. I kid you not. Pretty much it was a great Monday, Tuesday, and then the rest of the week was normal, but the high of Monday, Tuesday is worth praising. And I want to thank you, listeners and watchers, and site readers. If I don't know how you'd hear this if you weren't listening to me, but anyway, putting it out there in the ether. Thank you very much for your support of GoNintendo. Hi, 10 Division. Good to see you. So, I'm going to do a little bit of inside baseball. I'm not going to pull up the curtain back too much, but when it comes to, let's just talk vaguely, impressions on GoNintendo. The average for a whole bunch of pieces, parts of GoNintendo, so all different aspects of it, is about 1 million to 1.5 million impressions a week. That's right. So that again, that's the norm. It could be a little lower, it could be a little higher, depending on what's going on, but that's the norm. About a week, and that happens. Well, we had the interview that I teased on social media. It was the first time I really teased an interview. I don't like teasing stuff because I'm like, somebody's like, we got this thing coming, check it out. And it's like, just put it out now. But I was like, a day before, when I got like less than 12 hours ago, I could put out a couple teases for something that's going to be coming up soon. I was like, actually promote myself, which I hate doing, but I was so proud of the interview, again, which you heard because I got very emotional about it. I was just excited. And I wasn't going to put it out on Sunday because Mondays are the biggest traffic day on the internet for almost all websites. That's just the way it goes. So I put out the teases, and when the interview went live, it got a lot of traction, and people were reading it and talking about it, and it went further than I thought it would, which is great. Then on top of that, there was a interview with I was going to say Miyamoto, with Shuntaro Furukawa, the president of Nintendo. They answered a whole bunch of different questions. Just about Nintendo in general, and the Switch 2, and prices of memory, and games being in the works. It was like we don't usually hear Furukawa have or do interviews like this where it's so wide ranging, and he actually answers questions. There was some, Nintendo Ninja answers in there where you don't really get an answer, but there was more forthcoming answers than I expected. So that was really cool to see. The thing is, I caught wind of that interview at like 6 in the morning. And I had just laid down to go to bed, and I was beat. And I was like, oh, God. Like, I was reading it, and I was like, there's a lot in this interview. I was like, if I'm going to cover this, it's going to take me like at least a half hour. But I was like, laying there on the couch, I was like, maybe I could do it on my phone. I was, under a blanket. It's very cold. You're tired. You're getting ready for bed. You're right there. Like, you're going to fall asleep, and something comes up, and you're like, I don't want to get up. And that's how I felt. But I was like, no, I should get up and do it, and I'll feel better, and I'll rest easier. So I did that, went and took a half hour and combed through that, put together bullet points and put it up. And I was like, okay, now I can, as I said, rest easier. That's taken care of. And then when I get up, I don't have to worry about how I missed something big. So I did it, and it took off, and it really got a lot of coverage, and it was again, I knew it would be an important story. I knew it would be a big story, but it went further than I expected. So that was great to see. To wrap all this up, as I said, about 1 million impressions in a week on GoNintendo through all the various facets. Well, in the first 24 hours of the interview that I did with AdHoc, and the interview that I summarized with Shuntaro Furukawa, we got 1.5 or 1.4 million impressions. So we did what we normally do in a week in a day. It was actually less than a day. I want to say, to tell you the truth, the stats for when I looked on it would probably be about 11 hours. So considerably less than a day, but I'm saying a day. So 1.4, 1.5 million impressions. So a week's worth of impressions in a day, which is nuts. I could not believe it. And then the crowning achievement, we were, for those 11 hours, the number one thing that came up on Google News when you searched Nintendo. So when you search Nintendo on Google and you go to the news section, you'll get a block of the most popular things that are being discussed and the most popular frequented websites that are talking about these things. It's a block of like 4. We were number one in there First corner, boom, talking about the Nintendo president. I was like, holy crap. Now, I've been in that block before. Well, look who it is. Look who woke up. We've been in that block before, but and for a little bit of time. We're usually in the first page when you scroll down. But we were number one in that block and we stayed there for a good chunk of time. And I was like, holy crap. So, long story short, again, thank you to everybody for that support. It was amazing to see. Um, and as I've said before, and have also gotten emotional about before, for me to run GoNintendo for so long, over 20 years, I've been doing this, and to have moments where, GoNintendo works, and that's my main job, and I'm here doing it because of your support, so that's always there. But to see, like, these moments pop up and these things can happen so long after I've started the site, and in a time when, nobody's going to websites anymore and nobody's doing people don't get their news that way anymore unless they're the uber dedicated Nintendo fans, clearly. It was just really cool to see that. So thank you so much for that double support on the interview and the interview for the Go Nintendo conducted interview and the Go Nintendo summarized interview. So that was really cool. So thank you so much. That's right, Cumulative, all about RSS feeds now, the new big thing. um, so awesome, just awesome stuff. So obviously we had a boost in traffic all week because of that, and I couldn't have been happier that people were coming to the site to see the Nintendo president interview and then catching our interview, or going to see our interview and catching the other top stories. So just cool stuff all around. Very, very, very appreciative. Thank you so much. Cumulative says, by the way, about the RSS feeds, should we still have two RSS feeds now? I have the new one, but the old one is still getting stuff. I honestly don't know. I'd have to ask T27 Duck. My knowledge of what's going on there is, I would say, as close to zero as possible, but I can ask him and find out and let everybody know on the next podcast. So I will do that. I'm taking a sip of water. So yes, awesome week. Thank you so much for the support, but always thank you for the support. Now let me go over to my email. What are we doing? Page. Oh no. It's no matter how many times I do the show, for some reason I'm still surprised. We're going to the Patreon. Hey George, did you know that you could join the Go Nintendo Patreon
for $1?
For $1. That's right, George. New post every day on Patreon where I talk about something that's on my mind. Here's what I talked about this week. First up, I talked about an upcoming game called Demon Tides. What is Demon Turf is the first game. It's a 3D platformer made by the developer Fabraz, who's doing the new Bubsy game. Was it Bubsy 4D? They're the developer behind that. And Fabraz is a very talented developer when it comes to 3D platformers. They know what they're doing. So I did not play Demon Turf, but I wanted to. I just never got around to it. So I know that they have Demon Tides coming out, and I follow them on social media, and they just happen to send out a clip of Demon Tides showing off like some of the platforming and mechanics that you can do in the game and some of the fun ways that you can get around. And this clip just like blew me away. I was like, wow, this looks really versatile and really open in the way that you can platform and get to areas and get things done. It looks like you can string together a whole bunch of unique moves and get to areas in maybe ways that weren't specifically intended, or use methods to get somewhere that aren't exactly how levels are built out. But once you know the mechanics really well, you can use them in certain ways to exploit the systems and, get around to areas in quicker ways or interesting ways or ways that are unintended, and just whatever. So it was like a 30-second clip. And I was blown away by it. And I was like, I gotta play Demon Turf because Demon Tides looks awesome. Demon Tides is not out yet. Demon Tides is coming to Switch. I don't think there's a specific release date. It'll be this year sometime, but I believe the PC version isn't that far off, and then the Switch version will come after that. But like I said, I want to play Demon Tides first because Demon Turf first because Demon Turf and Demon Tides are connected. So I need to get my ass in gear and play Turf before Tides comes out. But go check out Demon Tides if you haven't. I shared a specific clip on Patreon and then talked about it more. But boy, it looks cool. And as you are listening to a Nintendo podcast, I would imagine you're into platformers, 2D and 3D. So if you're looking for something to tide you over until Nintendo decides to show us the next 3D Mario, perhaps you could check out Demon Tides when it becomes available. There's also what's that frog game that's out right now? It's getting some talk. The 3D platform was it Big Hops, I think. Um, there's been a decent amount of articles about that game and how it's a really good 3D platformer. And again, one that I wanted to check out, and it's on my list. And I'd like to say at some point I will do that. I just don't know when that's going to be. 10th Division. I am not saying Demon Turd. I am saying Demon Turf. Turf. Demon Tides and Demon Turf. Medium wear or medium wear? So I wrote about that. I also wrote about something else that I was thinking about writing a piece on for a while now, and I was like, is this too cheesy, or should I be open about it? I was like, what am I talking about? I'm open about everything. I should not be embarrassed about anything that I'm into or anything that I think or whatever. So I wrote the piece because it's really been helping me, this thing. And I'm going to tell you. So get ready because I do think it's a little cheesy, but it works for me and I like it. So I'm going to tell you. Um, we all have things in our lives that give us that challenge us and maybe are difficult to do or difficult to stick with or moments that really make us struggle and you want to do your absolute best to persevere and see things through or maybe stick with something or just find the energy to make something happen. And I said, as if you've been with GoNintendo for a long time, you know that I've been on a weight loss journey and I'm very much in the spot I want to be weight wise and in the spot I should be apparently for my height and a whole bunch of other things. But the process of losing the weight, I would say it was difficult, don't get me wrong, but it was much easier than where I am now, which is maintaining. Maintaining is very annoying because, you know, you lose the weight, you lose the weight, you lose the weight. It's exciting and you feel good about it and you're proud of yourself. And then you get to where you want to be or where you should be. Um, so you get there and you're like, "Oh, and now I have to do this forever for the rest of my life." And you're like, some days are really tough because 'cause you're like, "I'm just really hungry and I wanna eat a cake. And I wanna eat this loaf of bread." Or I wanna eat all these desserts or whatever, you know, it's just and it's annoying because 'cause you're like, I just can't do that." When you're, like, in the thick of, like, continually losing weight to get to where you wanna be, you get, like, that rush of, like, "Yep, I'm getting to the goal, I'm getting to the goal." And then when you get to the goal, you're like, "Well, now I'm just at the goal. There's nothing else to look forward to other than I am constantly in better health now." But the only thing to look at really is a backslide where you're like, if I fall off the wagon, I'll gain weight and then I'll," you know, so there's no like nothing ahead where you're like, that's my goal and it motivates you. You're just like, now I have to stay here and this is annoying. I am not fasting cumulative. No, I just have a calorie amount that I eat every day, which is what I've done this whole thing. Done during this whole thing. So again, I'm still right where I want to be weight wise, but it is a struggle and it's annoying and it's frustrating. And there's some days where I'm like, I just don't want to do this. And I was trying to think of ways to motivate myself or trying to think of ways to like not make it so overbearing. And surprise, surprise, I related it to anime. And one of the anime that I watched that's extremely popular, please don't spoil it because I'm not done yet. I'm behind. My Hero Academia. Very long story, very short, because I've said that 3 times this episode and it hasn't been true. Because I know I've talked about this show before, but I will try and keep it short. It's a show about superheroes. The main superhero is a guy called All Might, and he's got a slogan that is "Go Beyond plus Ultra," which just means, you know, when you think you've hit your limit, tell yourself you can do it and go through and push on. So and in the show, there are people that make fun of All Might for the slogan and pick him apart. But then there's some people who make fun of him for it, end up adopting it themselves, and it helps them. And I was like, this doesn't have to be for anybody but me. And here I am telling it to you anyway. But I was like, when I am like thinking about how I just want to eat a whole tub of ice cream, rather than doing it, I just got to give myself a mantra. I got to say something to myself in my head, and I really got to commit to it. And I was like, I'm going to be like All Might. I'm going to say plus ultra. I'm going to attack everything plus ultra. I'm going to go beyond and think about that. And instead of giving in, I'm just going to have that mentality because I was like, All Might goes through a lot of struggles. And if he yes, he's a fake person, but it doesn't matter. It means something to me. I was like, if he could do it and he's going through a lot more, then I can not eat a tub of ice cream. So I've been doing that. And I'm like, son of a bitch, this is actually working. So like there will be nights where like I'm laying, I have a lot of trouble at night. Like, I don't know what it is, but going to bed or getting ready to go to bed, I just feel so hungry. So, at night when I'm laying there on the couch, like, looking at TikToks or reading a book or whatever, and I'm, like, just sitting there wanting to eat something so bad. I've been in my head. I haven't been saying it out loud, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I've been saying in my head, plus ultra, go beyond plus ultra, be like All Might, you can do this, and it works. I'm gonna say it works like 80% of the time. There's other times where I'm like, nope, just not enough, but it's making a difference, and I'm shocked where I'm like, we hear about motivation and self motivation and pumping yourself up, and how that the internal monologue is really important, and you're your own worst enemy, but you can be your own best friend and supporter as well. And you know what? It's working. It's working very much. So I wrote about that because I was like, no matter what it is in life, if you're struggling, you just maybe finding your source of inspiration or your words of encouragement and really listening to them and telling them to yourself, even if you feel stupid doing it, it can make a difference. Um, Cumulative says, "Does chewing gum suppress appetite for you?" It does not. No. And you say, or is it the opposite? I think for me, it might be the opposite. Yeah. If I try to like take the edge off when I'm hungry, like chew gum or like have, a tortilla, one tortilla or something like that. It just makes my brain and my body go like, I want more food now. This was great. Give me more. So yeah, I that's like the slippery slope for me. If I try to stave it off by just eating a little bit here or something like that, it gets worse. So I have to stay in the mindset and control it like that. 10 Division says, honestly, you need to scream it in your All Might voice, accent, and everything. I have thought I have thought about doing that. I've not um related to food or anything, but I've thought about like, there could be moments in life where like I think about yelling something anime related or like doing something from wrestling where like I'd apply it to real life and it'd help me through that moment, and it'd be moments where I really need strength or help or motivation in a real life serious situation, and I would do it, and I'd be like, that'd be so cool. But I don't want to be in those moments because they're bad moments, obviously. So I've thought about it, but outside of that, just yelling phrases and all that stuff, I do that all the time, and MomBrain has to put up with it. So she's used to that stuff. But outside, I'm making noises and singing video game songs and quoting anime and stimming off of TikTok memes and stuff like that all the time. Like, I did it during this podcast. I did medium one or medium one. Um, I think a lot of people are like that nowadays, where they're quoting memes all the time and it just fits into the regular vocabulary. But yes, poor mom brain puts up with way more than she should have to. Moving on, I wrote about a person called Button Masher. Let me see if that's just their name on YouTube. You can find them on a whole bunch of social media platforms. They are on TikTok and they are on YouTube. Button Masher. So they're not active on YouTube. They have stuff up there, but let's see if their shorts are active. Oh, their shorts are active. Their shorts are up to date. So if you go to Button Masher, just type in Button Masher on YouTube and you'll find them. They are a Grammy award winning arranger, chiptune artist, and keyboardist. So on, I follow them on TikTok, which is where I see a lot of their stuff. But again, it seems they're taking their TikTok content and uploading it to YouTube Shorts, so you get their content there too. They are an incredible musician. They're very jazz influenced, very jazzy, very freeform jazz in a lot of their stuff. But they are heavily, heavily influenced by video game music, and they are phenomenal. Like, the stuff that they do is crazy, and they just started a new series that is, um, they play a lot of their music in sound fonts from classic Super Nintendo and Genesis games. So you'll hear brand new songs that Button Masher does, but they're using the sound font from F-Zero or the sound font from Sonic 3 or something like that. It's just really cool to see. But their latest thing is using those sound fonts from classic games to make new songs that sound like they should be a part of that game. So, for example, let me go over. One of the recent shorts is let's build an F-Zero song, let's build a Super Mario Kart song, let's build a Mega Man X song. And in their videos, they are using the sound fonts from those games, but to make a brand new song. I'll play you a little bit of one so you can understand what I'm getting at. So this is an original song, but using F-Zero sound font. Come on, man. That's awesome stuff. I know I'm a bit of an idiot savant with with video game music, but I'm sure you guys can. Hi, Guy Bones. Good to see you. Yeah, that's right, Guy Bones. I'm sure you guys can hear that and be like, yeah, that sounds like F-Zero, the original F-Zero, but it's a brand new song just using those instruments, quote unquote instruments, the sound bank, the sound font again. But man, do I really like it, and the type of music that they make well, this in particular is really cool because, like I said, they're trying to make songs that are in the same style of what you hear in those games already, but they're new, so, I just love it. Really tickles my fancy, but Button Masher in general, really, really cool. Um, so check out their stuff. Lots of awesome music, and they go around and they tour in person, like, they actually play live, and do concerts, which I would love to check out. But anyway, Button Masher, go check them out. Really cool. I'd like to do an interview with them. I was considering doing an interview with them. Moving on. Did that. Animal Crossing. Obviously, there's the new update out for Animal Crossing. It is Animal Crossing New Horizons version 3.0, which adds in a new hotel and some new ways of movement. You can shuffle, sidestep, and you can hop, and there's some other things in there. And then as well, there's the Switch 2 edition that's now available, which you can get an upgraded to for $5. And that gets you online play with more people. Better resolution, the megaphone that you can yell at people with, whatever. But that's right, NicoDarunia, Nintendo Love Hotel added to Animal Crossing. um, so Animal Crossing's been the talk of the town for the last few days. I feel like I'm back in pandemic era right now because my TikTok is flooded with Animal Crossing videos, and that's what it was in the pandemic era because tons of people were playing. So I've been seeing people returning to their towns or their islands and checking out the new stuff and building new things and seeing people doing tours and like so it's really cool to see like the resurgence of it. You look at the eShop charts, Animal Crossing is number one, so people are back and all about it. And it's not just old people returning for the update, it's new people as well. For the game to be number one in sales on the eShop right now, that's crazy. So, very cool to see. And I was asking people I was asking the Patreon people if they plan on returning and what they plan to do. And there were a lot of people who said they had gotten back into it or they were going to get back into it. But perhaps most impressive, as I take a sip, there were a lot of people who said they never left. So they've been playing consecutively since the game came out. I know one person, again, I should write names down, but I'm an idiot. One person said they've been playing for, I want to say they said 2,000 days. Is that possible? That can't be possible, right? 365. Yeah, that can't be possible. Whatever, but it was a serious amount of time. But yes, there were a handful of people who were like, "Yeah, I never stopped. I go in every single day. Have not broken the streak." Maybe it's 2,000 hours. That makes sense. 2,000 hours. That's what it was. Um, so it's just awesome to know that. And, if Dew was here, he could talk about it. Animal Crossing, since he decided to give it a go, has been a part of his daily routine since he started playing. He's all about it. So I hope he's enjoying the new update. I know he didn't sound excited or interested in it last week, but you never know. Hi, SD. Good to see you. Would have heard about it today, but the weather did not allow it. But that just makes more of a reason to tune in for next week's show. Yes, as the winter weather here in the Great Garden State has stymied our podcast crew, and we wanted them safe. As much as we wanted them here in person, we'd rather them be safe. And MomBrain has been like a bear, and she's hibernating. MomBrain? MomBrain? Are you joining me or what? She's going to shovel, and she actually means shovel. Are you sure? What are you snacking on in there? No, you're all right. I know how you operate. You're going to be like, I got to get out there and do it. And you'll be all nervous. Listen, if you go shovel and you're feeling up for it afterwards, you can come join me. If not, it's okay. You do you, boo. Okay, I love you guys. There you go. The MomBrain update. She's going out to shovel. Gonna whisper this so hopefully you can hear me. I want to go sneak a picture of her while she's out there and try and send it to the Discord. She's gonna be in like a giant jacket and shuffling around. It's gonna be really funny. I'll see what I can do. Moving on. What else did I talk about? I talked about. Oh yeah, sometimes. So when it comes to the Patreon, I have ideas in my mind of things I want to write about, and then there's other things that spur on thoughts throughout the week. Something pops up here or there, and I'm like, yeah, I'd like to write about that. But I had an idea that I wrote about, and I was like, it's not even a thought that was in my head in the beginning of the week, but after I wrote about it, I was like, that's a fun thought, and it was something that I like recognized myself, and it was like, oh, I never really recognized that about myself, or I never really thought that way, and then I wrote it, and I was like, I like that. What's it about? I wrote about how, for me personally, and I know there's other people who are in this boat. When you're watching something or reading something or playing something, I find it fun when you are confused, but you have to thread the needle of confusion. So I think I have a higher threshold than most people. I'm cool with being like 85% confused and you give me like a tiny little sliver to keep me connected. I'm cool with that. I think that's probably higher than most. And I'm not saying because I'm better. I'm just saying because I'm more forgiving. People want their time spent well. But I really like that feeling of trying to figure things out or having, yes, like the story cumulative. Yeah, not like being confused by gameplay mechanics or something like that. Story, I should say specifically. Sorry about that. Um, I really like just having threads to try and connect and like mystery to try and figure out and things that I see happen or play out where I'm like, what does that mean? How does this connect? What blah blah blah. I really like all that. So, like I was saying, that's probably why I really like SD. That's great. SD says, "Thread the needle of confusion." Sounds like a '90s album. That is amazing. Um, I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks, and Twin Peaks is very confusing. Even having watched Twin Peaks, I can tell you it's very confusing. And to some degree, you could argue that it was never meant to be fully understood, or that there is like a definite answer as to what everything means. But oh yeah, I talk about Twin Peaks, and now you come in. What you talking about? What are you doing? I'm talking about the Patreon. MomBrain, did you know you could join the Patreon
for $1?
What's up?
I heard Twin Peaks.
Oh, I was talking about how if you're gonna be here, you got to talk into this. You drink coffee?
No.
Oh boy, you got some morning breath.
Hey guys.
I was talking about how it's fun to be confused by things for me when it comes to a story to a certain degree. I have a very high threshold for it, but it can go over. But I really like the mystery and confusion and trying to figure things out. And Twin Peaks is very much like that. And I was gonna say that there are pieces of story or pieces of a piece of entertainment that can help fuel me through the confusion. So like in Twin Peaks, I love the atmosphere and I love the acting and I love the soundtrack and the way it's shot.
Mhm.
And all of that counteracts the moments where I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I still enjoy that. But without, the other things that I listed that I like, if I was just confused all the time without those other anchors, I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually enjoying this or not. So that's what I'm
Can I
talking
add
about.
on to that?
Sure.
I completely agree. And I would like to add that I prefer if I know that it's confusing before going into it. Like if I've been warned, like, hey, it's a confusing show, because if I'm not, then I worry like, oh no, am I really dumb and I'm missing something?
You do worry about that a lot.
Yeah. And then I like don't pay attention to the show because I'm like worried about making meaning out of it. Because
Yeah, you're like, how deep am I in this? And am I too lost? Am I missing what's happening?
Yeah, and for me, like it's also like I'm preoccupied with making meaning, like figuring
Yeah.
out where it fits.
Yeah.
And then I can't enjoy the show. So if I know going into it, like it doesn't necessarily have to make sense, like just watch, which I guess I should just go into every show feeling, just like you don't have to make sense of it, just watch. But I do like some context if it's something that's meant to be more open-ended or confusing.
Don't get confused if you're in the Discord. Hi, William. Good to see you. I am liking or reacting to your comments on MomBrain's iPad, so it's going to say it's coming from her, but it's actually me. Yes. You are very much someone who wants to know that you are probably going to be confused before you go in, because then it puts you at ease.
Yeah.
I was going to say Neon Genesis Evangelion is another one. That is like,
I wasn't confused by that so much as I had already preconceived notions about the characters. Like I was like, oh, this poor kid, he's like, his dad doesn't really love him and like he's gonna be the hero. And like then I was like, wait a minute, like
this is slightly different.
Yeah, but I liked that, right? Because it was like a surprise and like,
yeah.
And then I kind of actually was like embarrassed that I felt that way at the beginning, but I think that's part of the experience.
Oh yeah.
So,
but that is one that is very much confusing, and there's a lot where you're like, wait a minute, what? Like, I think in that one you get the very base story of what's going on. It's like these angels are coming down and we gotta take them out or the world's gonna end. Like, you get that, but there's so much more going on there. And as you're like, especially in the later episodes, you're like, what? What's happening? I said, I was influenced to write this because of Jujutsu Kaisen, which I was talking to you about, because Jujutsu Kaisen has moments where MomBrain really feels like this. I think it goes too far for her, but now I gave her a solution. In Jujutsu Kaisen, there's a lot of talk of the battle system, which is like energies and curses and curse manipulation and domains. And
which reminds me, that TikTok you sent me was great, of that sweatshirt.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
If my beard didn't cover that, I would love to wear that. There's MomBrain was watching the show and was trying, and she's like, wait, how does why does their power work like this? And why are they? And I was like,
do I remember? Is there going to be a quiz?
Yeah, it's like, don't really worry about that. Just watch the show and know they're going to do like cool moves, and then know the greater story of like, this guy is important and this guy is trying to stop this bad guy. You don't need to worry about how like cursed blood manipulation works or anything like that. And then where Jujutsu Kaisen is now in the anime, they started an arc called the culling game, and the culling game has all these rules and everything. And I was confused, but I'm talking about how I'm confused. Like, I knew the bigger plot points of what was going on and why, but I didn't know the minutia of how everything worked. And that's okay with me. I don't mind that. But I came across a guy on TikTok who knew that people were probably going to be confused, and he read the manga and watches the anime, and he's taken on a task of explaining this stuff as succinctly as he can in like common English, and he's phenomenal, to the point where I left a comment and I was like, so I said something along the lines of, I'm a JJK fan, but there are times where I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. and hearing you explain it has made everything click. And I was like, thank you. This was a really, really good video. And now I watch these other videos. And I'm like, man, everything just makes sense. So MomBrain, when the new season started, was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch or not. And I was like, you should watch. And now you got this guy and you won't be confused anymore. So I talked about that. I also talked about Star Trek.
Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm going to go shovel.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Let me finish this one and then you can go. Star Trek is kind of like that too, where there's problems, and Star Trek is very easy to understand. But then when they have certain problems that need to be fixed, and then they're like, the tractor beam, reverse the polarity and up the particle accelerator to 900% and overclock it with the
they're just putting
crystal,
a little stank on it,
and it's all Trek talk where it's just like it doesn't mean anything, and that's how they're gonna explain themselves out of a situation. But then that becomes part of Star Trek, and going forward, those things are brought up again, and you're like, I don't know what any of these things mean. But there's enough of other stuff going on in Star Trek that I'm okay, or that I enjoy, where I'm like, I don't need to know how the replicator works or anything like that.
And it's also Star Trek has been in our culture for so long that, like, I'm sure in the beginning people probably felt the way that I feel about JJK, like, where it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Or people who like really know like science in that field might be like critical, like thinking about it and then realizing like, wait, no, this is just for play. So I guess that makes a difference too. Like if it's like an older series and you like know what to expect.
It's kind of like Project Hail Mary too, because when the guy in that book is talking about figuring out all this stuff, I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I like everything else going on here. So I just like that I know what he's trying to do, and I like what's going on. Ice Silver says, not quite Twin Peaks level, but I thought From was along the same lines. Odd stuff that you don't understand happening. Yes, From has been on my list for a long time, but you got to have AMC Plus to watch that, and I don't have that. And I'm not against getting it, but I don't like to get a streaming service for just one thing. If I had something else on there, I'd probably do it. But From has been on my list. I know my sister watched it, and she liked it for a long time, but I think she may have soured on it. I don't know. SD has the phrase I couldn't remember. That is correct. Technobabble. Yes, Technobabble is what it is. So yeah, I wrote about that stuff because I said, for me, being confused is part of the fun. And if there's other elements to the show or the game or the book that I like, then I'm okay with it. And I can be really confused as long as I have just a couple little things to connect with. MomBrain, thank you so much. It was lovely to see you. Sun's gonna go down, big guy. You got to get out there and
because it's gonna snow. We're gonna get like hit again pretty hard tomorrow, I think.
Well, they didn't say it was supposed to be big snow today, and it was, and now tomorrow has changed to 100%.
And I think they're saying like 4 inches plus.
This says 0.3 and 0.05.
But if you look at the winter weather advisory,
where's that? Where do I go? Can I go to NOAA? Does our government allow NOAA? Go back to here. Winter weather advisory.
Click on it.
Possible threat to life or property.
Yep.
What to expect? Total snow accumulation is 2 to 4 inches. Yeah, but that's like for the whole,
Well, I mean, you're not even looking at our town.
I'm close enough. Around here, I don't think that'll be the case, but I'll look into it more. There you go. That's you, MomBrain, right here in the Discord.
Probably.
All right. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Goodbye.
Have a nice one. Remember, just do it. Just take
remember,
just put the shovel down. Put the handle into your gut and just.
I don't put it into my gut because I don't want to squish it.
Then just push. Just push. Okay. All right. Everybody says bye, MomBrain. Good seeing you. And then the only other thing. Oh no. What the hell? What I wrote. Oh yes. I write myself show notes. And sometimes I write a note and it makes perfect sense to me when I'm writing it, and then I read it during the show and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? But I remembered. I wrote about how there is perhaps no greater feeling for me than when I recommend someone something. A, they decide to watch it, read it, play it. B, actually really enjoy it. That is, when people recommend things to me and they're like, I love this, I really want you to check it out. I'm all about that. It's one of my favorite things, and hopefully I do enjoy it as well. But it's not about that for me. It's about someone being like, "Here's this thing. I'm telling you about it because it means something to me." And I go, "I will take that in and I will participate because I know it means something to you. So I want to show that I care about what you care about." I love that moment. I eat it up. But I love it even more when I am able to bring someone something and they're open to trying it, but then it becomes something that they also actually really enjoy. That happens far, 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 far less than people willing to try something. I still think, for my taste, people are more closed off, but whatever, to each their own. But I have people in my life who will try things, and I'm very appreciative of it. Dude just tried Don to Don, and the Summer Hikaru died. He didn't like the Summer Hikaru died, but he did like Don to Don. So 1 for 2, I'll certainly take it. Um, so again, I'm very appreciative of that. But I recommended a family member. This family member is very big into reading. Reading is their number one hobby, I would say, or at least very tied with oh, they're gonna kill me. It's like knitting or crocheting or sewing or one of those. I don't know. I specifically wrote it like that in the post because I don't remember, but they do one of them and they do it a lot. I want to say it's crocheting. I'm probably wrong, but they reading and sewing, I'll just say, together. They're big hobbies. And I know how much they love reading. And obviously, I'm a big fan of visual novels. And I just saw them recently. Needlework. Thank you, Tater Tot. That's a great way to put it. Needlework. Big fan of needlework. I saw them recently. And as they're a big reading fan, I am a big visual novel fan. I'm also reading, but visual novel fan. And I was like, you guys know I love Soul of Sovereignty, and I will sing its praises to anyone who will listen. And I have a whole bunch of friends who read, but none of them have tried Soul of Sovereignty. My sister tried it and she didn't like it, but whatever. She's not a friend, she's family. Oh, this is family too. I shouldn't even say that. But like married in family, which is still family 100%, but it's a little different. I love this person to death. But anyway, I recommended Soul of Sovereignty, and they were like, I will try it. They didn't really know what a visual novel was and hadn't ever experienced one, but they tried Soul of Sovereignty. And throughout the week, they have been texting me pictures of it. Hi, Zikamudo. Good to see you. Pictures of it and texting me about things that are happening in it and sharing their excitement for it. And I know they are genuinely into it because they said they're really upset that they can't log it on Goodreads because they want to log it there and they want more people to see it. And on top of that, they recommended Soul of Sovereignty to 2 of their friends, which I would imagine are people who are big readers but don't play games. So I could not ask for anything more. Like, I'm not saying I want people to do that. I'm saying I hope, fingers crossed, that happens when I recommend something to someone. And it doesn't very often happen with my real life friends, you guys, Discord. Not that I don't, and GoNintendo people in general, not that I don't count you as friends. It's parasocial, but we got some kind of relationship. So when you take a recommendation and you tell me, I heard you recommending this game and I played it and I loved it. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love those moments. But if it's someone in real life, like a real life friend or a real life family member, um, to have them take on something that I like, give it a shot, and have it really resonate with them. Beautiful moment. So that happened with me this week, and I could not be happier. And Goodreads, I'm moving. Not that I was ever active on Goodreads, really, but it was a good place to be like, I'm going to read this book and just keep track of it. But I know Goodreads isn't exactly the best, so I'm going to be moving away from it. I'm not knocking anyone who uses Goodreads. You do you. But Goodreads, get on your shovel and make it so that people can log visual novels on there because that is 100% reading. I believe there's some roundabout way to add visual novels to Goodreads, and I'm going to look into it for the family members so they can do that because they want to sing the praises, and I think that's great. Whew. So that's what I wrote about on Patreon this week. Again, you can get that for $1 and jump in and chat, and then you don't have to wait all week to hear what I'm talking about. And thank you to everyone there who supports me already. For $1. For $1. It is greatly appreciated. And now, let me take you to the news portion of the show. Finally, Dwayne, we've made it. I'm gonna fumble a lot today while I'm going through stuff because I got the latest iOS update, and sorry for sniffling. And navigation is MomBrain's throwing up. Navigation is different for browser stuff, so I'm still getting used to it. So I apologize for any technical hiccups as they pop up. As I said, a lot of top stories this week, and we're gonna give them all to you, starting with the surprise news. Hi, Blinded by Daylight. Good to see you. Yes, solo show. I've explained it a couple times already. I love you to death, Blinded, but I don't want to bore everybody else. So unfortunately, you'll have to wait and see. You'll have to go back and listen to see why it's a solo show. Sorry, I got a text. So earlier this week, we got another surprise announcement from Nintendo about a game that's going to get an update, and we were like, "What the hell?" Because it seemed like they were done with content updates. You know, there's games that still get like patches and stuff like that, but this is something a little different. If you're it was a surprise with Animal Crossing to get version 3.0, and now we have something. That's right, SD. Basically, I pissed off everybody, and that's why I'm alone on the show. Splatoon 3 is getting a new version update. It's going to be updated to version 11 on January 29th. So soon. And Nintendo has said they will give more details in the near future. But specifically, Nintendo said that fans can look forward to balance updates as part of this patch, but also new features. That is a quote, new features. They said there will not be any new weapon kits. But they said new features will be added as part of battles. Stay tuned for more details. So, surprise, 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 surprise. Something new is coming to Splatoon 3, which is pretty crazy. We also recently saw that Splatoon 3 got rated for the Switch 2. So there might be something more going on there than we thought. But at the very least, version 11 is coming with new features that pertain to battles. I don't know if you know this, but battles are a pretty big part of Splatoon. Oh, nude features. It's a typo, says SD. Nude features for Splatoon. So yeah, we'll be hearing about it very, very soon. Nintendo hasn't said specifics yet, but with the update coming on the 29th, we don't have all that much time left. So I would imagine this week we'll hear a little something. Of course, because Nintendo put this out there and said that said stay tuned for details. People are like, there's gotta be a Nintendo Direct. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't heard anything about a Direct. You know, usually February has been a pretty dependable month for Nintendo Directs, and maybe that'll happen again this year. But this update is on the 29th, so I don't think we're going to get a Direct in between now and then. But I'd love to be wrong from a fan perspective. But you and I will find out together. First comment comes from Aussie McBucket, and they say, I wonder what sort of new weapon kits will be included in this update. That's a very funny joke because Nintendo stresses that there will not be any weapon kit related content. Moving on, as I said, Nintendo's president had a big interview this week, and we did some bullet points to break down all the details. Hi, Rotzel. Good to see you, and thank you for the comment on the jacket. For those not watching, I am wearing a Attack on Titan jacket. My sister got me this as a as a Christmas present last or 2 years ago, because it was 2004. Yes. And now I wear it around the house because I'm cold all the time. And this one has a nice hood to wear. And yeah, I love this thing. It's not, I love Attack on Titan. It's not the kind of jacket I would buy for myself, but I'm very happy to wear it. And it's nice and warm and zips up. And I've been living in this sucker. Did I say 2004? Probably, because I'm an idiot. 2024. 2024. But anyway, back to Nintendo's president. He spoke to you got the sources here, you idiot. Kyoto Shimbun, which is a Japanese newspaper. He spoke to the newspaper about all kinds of topics, and I will give you the details. Mr. Furukawa, Nintendo's president, says Switch 2 supplies have stabilized globally, except for in Japan, where they say a little bit more time is needed. I think we don't know when this interview was conducted exactly, but it seems like as of right now in Japan, just in like the last week plus, we've seen stock pretty much stabilized in Japan. It took longer than other regions, but it seems like Nintendo got their stuff together there now. So pretty much anywhere in the world, you should be able to walk into a retailer that sells video game content and purchase a Switch 2 if you would like to do so. I'm taking a sip. Mr. Furukawa says Nintendo aims to make Switch 2 an accommodating, generous, and forgiving piece of hardware. So, generous in terms of what you get for the money and the software that's available, accommodating for all types of gamers and playing and all that, and forgiving also, I would imagine, is related to the price, because while it is a pricey system compared to where the Switch was launched at price-wise, Nintendo's hoping you find it to be favorable for what you get out of it. Nintendo says they're taking this approach, or says taking this approach will help to realize first and third party developer ideas. So everything that the system offers and how much it costs and what they believe it can deliver on, they think is good for what Nintendo wants to achieve first party wise, and as well as what they think third parties can do with the platform. Certainly, we're seeing from a traditional perspective, you look at companies like Ubisoft and Capcom and Square Enix, and it appears they are able to take their top tier AAA franchises and get them working on the Switch too. They might be downgraded graphically to some degree, or the frame rate might be halved what it is on other platforms, but it seems they are still capable of achieving overall what those AAA experiences are. So yes, that's a great thing for the Switch 2 and its audience. And then when you come to brand new games made by those third parties that are also planned for Switch 2, I'd imagine those companies can do an even better job. When you're taking an old game and it's being ported and it's being retrofitted to the Switch 2, you can rejigger things and work with what the Switch 2 can do to a degree. But obviously, it would turn out better if you're working with the Switch 2 from the beginning, starting at scratch, and then you could build specifically for that platform. So I think going forward, things are only going to get better. But we've seen through those companies so far, again, Ubisoft, Capcom, and Square Enix, that from a traditional third party's perspective, in terms of what they need from horsepower and what they're looking to achieve, it is capable on Switch 2. Mr. Furukawa says that there are people who pick up their first Nintendo console when reaching a certain age. He didn't say what the age was. And Nintendo wants to make sure that the Switch 2 is accessible for them. I know of friends who have kids who want a Switch 2. And obviously, like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old isn't able to go into the store and buy a Switch 2 because they ain't got no job. But their parents are getting it for them. And that's Nintendo is hoping that they connect at that age. And they're hoping that what the Switch 2 offers, and they're hoping that the price point allows for people to get in on that. I know there's pushback on price points, certainly, and it is an expensive system. But Nintendo feels they're doing what they can, so time will tell. The current memory the current pricing of memory has no immediate impact on Nintendo's financial performance. So memory prices are skyrocketing. Not enough memory to go around. Very pricey for everyone. Anybody who's using this kind of stuff in their technology. It's not just Nintendo. Is paying an arm and a leg for this kind of stuff. It's crazy right now. But Nintendo says it's having no immediate impact on Nintendo's financial performance. But, with Nintendo having to pay more to get memory for the Switch 2, people are like, are we going to see the Switch 2 price increase? Plus, we have tariffs that are raised on the whim of who. So that makes it tough for any company to navigate as well, because one day it's like you pay a 35% tariff, and then the next day you pay, or there's a 70% tariff, and then that gets passed off to the consumer, usually with the company deciding to up the price of their food or their clothing or their technology. In the case of Nintendo, the Switch 2. So Mr. Furukawa says, concerning the potential for a price increase on products, so Switch 2 and other things, he says, quote, I cannot comment on hypotheticals, end quote. So that means we're not going to say we're not going to do it, but we're not going to say we're doing it either. So he's like, it might get to a point where we got to do it, but maybe it won't. And obviously they wouldn't want to, But if things got so bad with memory prices and tariffs that they're like, Jesus Christ, this thing costs like way more to make than we originally had forecasts for it. We got to, take some of this edge off. So we're going to have to pass that cost off to the consumer. But then you also have to worry like, but is it going to be too high for the consumer are we going to price consumers out of the system? And there's people who already complain about the price. And are we going to stymie the Switch 2's growth because now it's just too expensive? It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. What a nightmare. So we'll see what happens, but not an enviable position for Nintendo or any company to be in right now. And obviously tech companies doubly so with the price of memory and all that. Rotzel says, I hate being a pessimist, but anytime I see a non-answer like that, I always assume it means they are probably going to raise the price. I hope I'm wrong. I don't, I mean, I get what you're saying 100%. I don't want to say it means they're going to raise the price, but I do believe, like I said, it means they're leaving the window open for a potential price increase. And I'm sure they'll do whatever they can to try and stay away from that, but the potential is there. Nintendo will further enhance their software offerings. Whoa, what did I just do? From going forward in this new year. And Furukawa specifically says that Nintendo is, quote, developing popular series titles that many fans are waiting for, but also completely new software, end quote. So, always exciting to hear, but always what you expect from Nintendo. They're going to make new entries in their long-running franchises and try new stuff as well. And we've seen 100% new things on Switch 2 already, like Switch 2 Welcome Tour. And we've seen new entries in established brands or franchises or IP like Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World and Kirby Air Riders and stuff like that. So if you're hoping that Nintendo does a new installment in your favorite franchise, chances are it's going to happen. And if you want to see them do brand new things that you haven't seen anywhere else before, then that's going to happen too. And obviously, that's very exciting because you never know what will be the first new IP that really becomes a core franchise for Nintendo, like Splatoon was on the Wii U. That was a brand new IP that managed to take off despite the Wii U not doing well. Now Splatoon is a very big franchise for Nintendo. So will we see something else crop up during the Switch 2 era that becomes a new flagship franchise for Nintendo? I don't know, but it's exciting to think about. And then there could be one-offs, experiments along the way as well. Furukawa says they want to build excitement leading up to the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is April something or other. So it's not that far off. And we've seen trailers and teasers and interviews and product collaborations. Like there's a couple cereals out there right now that have Super Mario Galaxy or the Super Mario Galaxy movie related collaborations. Like Trix is one of them, and I can't remember the other. We see that Old Spice has a whole bunch of products out there right now that are the Super Mario Galaxy movie themed. So if you want to smell like the movie, I guess, or Mario, I don't know what it is, but whatever. So that stuff is out there to spread the word. Nintendo is going to be doing more with that. Nintendo also says they will share info on the Legend of Zelda film gradually. So that comes out, May 2027? So we're probably a ways off from hearing, specifics on that movie or getting an actual trailer, but we did get some stills that were put out there. So that was cool. And there was leaked footage out there as well. If you caught that, that was very interesting. But if you're hoping to get more information on that, expect it to come gradually. Nintendo says their focus for movies is not short-term profits, but for character exposure. So yeah, making money's great and everything, but as Nintendo always says, games are the main thing. And then when it comes to other stuff like apps and toys and merch and now movies, those are meant to further the character and the franchise and the IP to then steer people back to the games. So Nintendo's putting those movies out there, and yeah, they're going to make some bank while they're doing it, but their hope is to get more people interested in the IP. So when the Legend of Zelda movie goes out there, they're hoping some people will be like, I don't know anything about Legend of Zelda, but that movie looks pretty cool. I'll go see it. Maybe they see the movie. Maybe they like the movie, and they're like, maybe I should start playing those games. And, sometimes you hear that stuff and you're like, nobody does that. But it happens. And I can tell you firsthand that it happens. Because as I've said, I think Nikki Hill's not here, so I can say this a bazillion times in the past. I didn't read comic books. I had nothing against them. I just didn't read them. I read maybe a couple when I was a very young kid. Then I made a New Year's resolution years ago to jump into the MCU because I had never seen a Marvel movie, any of them that were part of the MCU. Oh, that's a lie. I saw Doctor Strange. Only because Mads Mikkelsen was in it. But I was like, my New Year's resolution is to see those movies because I felt like I was missing out on something. And I watched all of them to get caught up for when Captain Marvel was coming out. And I was like, wow, these movies are great. And I think I really like superheroes. And I was like, you know what? If I like the movies, I probably would like the comics. I should give them a chance. And I went to my local comic book shop and learned all about that and started reading. I was like, wow, you know what? I really like comic books. And then they became a mainstay for me. And that also showed me how much I love superheroes in general, just the idea of superheroes. And again, yes, the powers are cool and the fights are cool, but it's more about the character studies that are more important to me. And that's what really resonates with me. So I learned a whole I learned a whole I learned a bunch of things about myself all from watching the MCU. It gave me a new passion. It gave me a new avenue for exploration of entertainment. It gave me a new set of, or it helped me recognize core values that are important to me. So, yes, there are people out there who don't know anything about the Legend of Zelda games. They will go see the movie. And if they like the movie, it could be their pathway to playing the games. It can happen. I am one of those people. So, Nintendo knows it can happen too, and that's why they want to do it. Nintendo also said they would like to establish a system to release more films beyond Mario and Zelda. So there you go. That's a big one. Nintendo has officially confirmed that they want to do more than Mario and Zelda when it comes to, I don't want to just say film because there could be TV shows too. So maybe they'll do a streaming series of one of their franchises or other movies too. But so there's the opening for Kirby and Splatoon and Fire Emblem and what else we got? Smash Brothers and Metroid and Ice Climbers. I saw somebody mentioned in the Discord and all that stuff. There's avenues that Nintendo would like to explore those franchises through the mediums of TV, film, animation, whatever. And who knows what's next? I'm sure they got Captain Rainbow confirmed. There you go, SD. You got it. They're gonna jump right on a Captain Rainbow movie. It's a superhero, so I'd be down. So who knows where they're gonna go and what they're gonna do, but that is very cool to hear. Cumulative says, did they hint at original movie-only properties, or were they more implying movies based on their games? It seems like it was implied that they're talking about specifically based on their games, but you never know. We saw Nintendo do recently the Pikmin animated shorts as well. They've done Pikmin animated shorts in the past, but we got the one with the baby and the Pikmin were invisible, and then they did the second one where you saw the Pikmin. So they're putting that experimental stuff out there. And then also for the weebs out there, myself, very excited when I heard this. They were asked about the idea of creating anime for their franchises. And Furukawa said, quote, if we can create works uniquely Nintendo, it'd be good in the future, end quote. So not a hardcore, steadfast commitment to it, but the door was open. Nintendo's done anime in the past. There's an anime Animal Crossing movie, and they've had anime Mario Brothers movie years and years and years ago, decades ago. So it's not like they haven't done this stuff before. Yeah, there's the Kirby cartoon that was, for all intents and purposes, anime. So yes, anime, as I've said, I probably, if you're not into anime, you probably hate this podcast because I talk about it a lot, but I'm into anime. Anime is very much in its moment right now. Anime has always been popular, but it's been very underground. Anime has been popular in Japan forever, but or for forever. And it's had an audience around the world, but not anywhere near what it does now. Anime right now is bigger than it has ever been by every way that you measure it. The amount of eyes on it, the amount of success as far as viewership goes, the amount to which people know that anime is out there. Streaming numbers, as far as what people are watching on streaming services, anime is in the top, if not the top genre in multiple streaming services. So It's huge. It's huge right now. I could not be happier. So, of course, for Nintendo to leave the door open for anime adaptations is excellent because there are more eyes than ever, more interest than ever, and it could reach again a whole new audience, which is what they like to, which is what Nintendo wants to see happen. So there's the crack of the window for them. Red Souza says anime is absurdly big compared to when I was a teen. Me too, my friend. And again, I've talked about this a lot, but yes, I will never be able to get over how far anime has come in terms of recognition, appreciation, audience size, and understanding and popularity as compared to where it was when I was in middle school. So middle school, I would say, is when I really like started to watch anime like um Sci-Fi Channel back when it was spelled SCI-FY. Used to have a Saturday anime block that I would watch. And there was another, Adult Swim had their Toonami, and Adult Swim showed stuff Saturday nights. Like they still do anime, which is where I got into, but that was more high school. So middle school was definitely sci-fi. And that's where I saw like Iria and Vampire Hunter D and stuff like that. And obviously, middle school is when I saw stuff like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, and that's when I was starting to be like, I like this stuff, but finding it was very difficult. It was bootleg VHS tapes, or if you're lucky, your local Blockbuster or Hollywood Video would stock some random stuff like Bubblegum Crisis or something like that. Samurai Pizza Cats, yeah, cumulative. Um, so you take what you could get where you could get it. But that's where my like love of anime really started back in middle school. And I could never, ever, ever talk about that in middle school. I already got enough crap for liking video games to the degree that I did. Video games were played by kids in school, certainly when I was in middle school, but you didn't really talk about it. Like you talked about Mario or Sonic, and like that was it. If you were playing stuff outside of that and talking about it, you were a nerd and a dork and you got harassed. But um if you talked about anime, it was way worse, like 20 times worse. Forget it. I can't even remember a single anime conversation I had in school because you knew it would get you socially murdered and you'd become a pariah. And I was already enough of a pariah. I was just trying to escape every single day. So, in high school, I maybe talked about anime a little bit and got lambasted tons. So it was also terrible there. But yeah, looking at it now, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's the norm. It's part of pop culture. It's the zeitgeist. It's totally, totally good. And listen, this is the best I can put it. There's an old people group chat that I'm in with family, and they are talking about how they watch Frieren and love Frieren. Never thought I would see the day. It's crazy that my aunts, who are 70 plus, are of their own volition watching Frieren. What world is this? It's a beautiful world. That's what it is. That's crazy. Also, sorry, Ice Dilbert, you were a nerd and a dork, but in the best way possible. And I embrace your nerdism and your dorkdom, so don't worry. And I'm right there with you. Always have been, always will be. So that just shows how far anime has come. So I hope Nintendo does stuff with anime, more stuff with anime. That'd be awesome. I'd be there to support it. And yes, cumulative, you should check out Frieren. The first episode of the second season came out yesterday. So good. Frieren is one of my favorite animes of all time, if not the favorite. And the first episode of the second season was everything I want and love about Frieren. I teared up. I laughed. It was heartfelt and emotional and sweet and endearing and soothing and nice. I'm going to savor every little bit of this season. Frieren is the best. Rotzel says, I started Chainsaw Man and Don partially from hearing you gush about them, and I'm enjoying both. Frieren might be next. Well, thank you for trusting me, my friend. I'm happy those have connected with you. And yes, Chainsaw Man and Don, love them to death too. Great stuff. Don is amazing. I think Chainsaw Man is incredible. Like the story it's telling and the what's going on underneath the main story, and like as a character study, man, So good. Again, I could talk about anime forever. I'll stop, but stick around for the after show, and I'll tell you about a surprise anime that just started that I randomly got in on, and its first episode blew me away. I won't do it to you now. You'll have to stay for the after show. Let me take a sip, and then I'll read your comment. Curry says, Curry. I still feel joy in the way Nintendo does things. I still don't feel oversaturated or betrayed or whatever. So I'm looking forward to whatever there's to come with great hopes that I'll be having fun. You and me, Curry. Yeah. When it comes to their software, I still have just as much fun, if not more fun nowadays than I ever did. So I am there to see whatever they do, and I'm always down to try something new from them, or pretty much with any games. So we don't need to do that. We will do this. We knew it was coming, but we finally got the details. The LEGO group has pulled back the curtain on all their upcoming Pokemon sets, or I should say their first wave of Pokemon sets, because I'm sure there will be more down the road. Not surprisingly, these are expensive, as Pokemon projects are. Or as LEGO projects are, sorry. These are coming out February 27th. Starting February 27th, we have Lego Pokemon Pikachu and Pokeball. Brick-built Pikachu showcases this beloved Pokemon in a dynamic pose, leaping out from a Pokeball. 2,050-piece set. There's also the Lego Pokemon Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, and Blastoise set. Truly epic set, brings 3 of the most celebrated Pokemon to fans, and one of LEGO Group's largest ever display sets, made up of over 6,800 pieces. You get the 3 Kanto starters in Lego brick form. I don't have the pricing here, but I believe that's over $600. This sucker is a behemoth. So it's huge in pieces. Pieces. I don't know why I said it like that. It's huge in the amount of pieces. It's huge in the amount that it hurts your wallet. Also, I saw it was on TikTok. It was a random like local news. $649 says Tater Tot. Woo boy, you get yourself a Switch 2 and a couple Pokemon games for that money. Listen, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. If you want to spend it on Lego, go right ahead, but it's pricey. I saw a local news, not my local, but a local news report talking about the Lego Pokemon stuff. And they had a reporter who very clearly knows next to nothing about Pokemon. So he was talking about this piece in particular. And he said Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. That's how he said them. And no, it wasn't a French guy, and no, it wasn't a French news report. It was just some like Midwest something. And he went with Charizard and Blastoise. I love Blastoise. That is great. I think that's how I'm going to say it from now on. There's also Lego Pokemon Eevee, a more modest set at 587 pieces, just featuring Eevee's expressive face, movable tail, head and limbs allow builders to pose the fan favorite either at rest or ready to jump into action. That's great, Malakayla. Did I say hello to you? If I didn't, hello. There's also from we're not doing that. Nope. But here's something cool as well. The Pokemon Center gift with purchase from January 12th. What are we on? So I said, what are we on? But in a way that didn't even sound like English. It's the 17th. Shoppers will receive a Lego Pokemon Kanto Region Badge Collection as a gift with purchase when pre-ordering the Lego Pokemon Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise set at Pokemon Center. So if you're willing to drop the 650 bones, you're going to get a special Lego Pokemon Kanto Region Badge Collection, which is pretty damn cool. So it seems like that's the only way to get that right now, because it's a purchase bonus. But as we posted in another story that's not a top story, you can go on eBay and find auctions for those, and people are selling them, surprise, surprise, for a lot of money. $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 for this, because limited, and you can only get it as a purchase bonus. So of course people are like, a Pokemon product, I'll put that on eBay. A Pokemon product that's limited, I'll put that on eBay. A Pokemon product that's limited and you can only get it a certain way, I'll put that on eBay, and they're going to make some bank. So NicoDarunia, I'm not going to say that comment out loud, but I want you to know that I agree with the sentiment. And I'm sure that's not a surprise to you. Forehand Hump says, Pikachu looks way off to me. Eevee looks almost perfect, but the face is too flat. Blastoise looks like the best, in my opinion, or looks the best, in my opinion. P.S. I think we all know what to I think we all know what to get Do Michaels for his birthday and Christmas. I'm sure Do will listen to this episode. Oh my God, I almost just dropped the microphone on myself. I'm sure Do will listen to this episode. Mother fudger, but I'm gonna screen cap this. Why? What? This is my first screen cap since the iOS has updated, and it gave me a whole new menu and all these things. I'm just trying to take a screenshot here. So I could send it to Do right now, and I'll let you know if he responds. But Forehand Hump, I'm doing this so that you know he 100% will get your comment because it's about him. And of course, we need to make sure he's up to date on all the latest Pokemon news. I'm sure he is already, and this is probably insulting because, of course, he knows about everything going on with Pokemon. But just in case, I'll send that to him, and it is done. So there you go. If you want this Lego Pokemon stuff, make sure you save up a lot of money because this is going to hit you deep in the wallet, the pocketbook, the purse, the bank, the Pokebank, and Lego stuff is usually expensive. But man, oh man. You are going to have to cough up some coins for this one. This week, we finally saw Nintendo put out their 2025 year in review, which means you can now see all the stuff you played last year, how many games, how much time you spent with them, and all that jazz. And yes, I will read you mine right now as long as I'm logged in on my phone. Am I? It doesn't look like it. Sorry, I thought I was signed in on my phone. I'm not. That's a bummer. I'm so sorry. I thought to check it and I didn't. I'm a failure. Well, you know what? I'll just get it next week when everybody's here. But I can tell you just base stats. If I go back, I played 42 games. Oh, Do messaged me, and Do says, as a Pokemon expert, I know exactly what this means. There you go. I'm going to say, we thought so. I played 42 games on my Switch and Switch 2 in 2025. I spent 196 hours playing on those platforms. My number 3 most played game. I can do a drum roll. My number 3 most played game is Deltarune. Where's my bum? It's got to be here somewhere. Is it not here? Why would it not be here? Drum roll, music, rimshot. It's a... there you go. My number 2 most played game on the Switch or Switch 2 for 2025 is Mario and Luigi Brothership. I beat that game. I took my sweet time with it, and that's how it became number 2. But there's one game I spent more time with in 2025. My number 1 most played game in 2025 on Switch or Switch 2 is Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I still haven't done everything there is to do in that game. I saw like the ending, but there's more after that. So I need to get back to that. And I will, because I've taken a new approach to how I play games. So I'll get back to that. That's my rough stats for that. But again, next week, I'll make sure when other people are on the show, we get all of that. But you can log in and get your information now. Human Part says they did a great job on this review. I love that it went all the way back to the original Switch launch. Yes, you can now go further back to see what you played in the past as well, further than you could before. So very nice job. And it did take them a little bit longer to get this year in review out, but it seems like they put in the work to make it a little bit special. I wish Nikki Hill were here for this story because it means so much to him. You may remember, oh my God, a bird landed right in front of me. I'm not a bird person, but this is, I went to take a picture and it flew away. It delivered a message directly at my face and then it flew away. You may remember in 2017, Capcom put out a collection of games from their NES era, but a very special collection. It was a Disney collection. They did the Disney Afternoon Collection. It included Chippendale Rescue Rangers 1 and 2, DuckTales 1 and 2, Darkwing Duck, and Tailspin. Games that NES fans remembered very fondly and still hold near and dear to their hearts, just as they do the properties, the Disney properties in general. So that came out in 2017, which the Switch was out then, but for whatever reason, it didn't come to Switch. And you know what? As a Nintendo fan, that hurt. I remember talking about this because it's like, this is a collection of 6 NES games, and the Nintendo fans of 2017 don't get to play this collection. It goes to other systems. I was like, that just feels wrong. And someone who was very upset about that was Nick. I was upset, but Nicky Hill was extremely upset because he's like, I want that collection. Why would they not put that on Switch? It's perfect. And he talks about it still. He talked about it a decent amount to this day. It would come up where he would say, I can't believe that didn't come over. Why didn't it eventually come over to Switch? How is it still not there? Well, one morning this week, right before I went to bed, I caught a little something and I was like, holy crap, it's happening. For whatever reason, all these years later, 8+ years later, that wrong is being righted. The Disney Afternoon Collection has been rated for release on Switch and Switch 2. This has not been officially announced, but it was. We know it's happening 100% thanks to a rating that popped up on the ESRB website. So that's it. It is happening. The Disney Afternoon Collection is coming to Switch and Switch 2. Obviously, it will come this year. We just don't know when. Games only get rated up by the ESRB when they are content complete. So it seems like most of the work is done here. And now we just wait for it to be announced. Back when this collection originally came out, it was published by Capcom. Obviously, these were Capcom games, and Digital Eclipse were the ones who revamped them for this collection. And Digital Eclipse are the kings of that kind of stuff. So perfect team. This 2026 release is being published by Atari. And you might scratch your head and go, why not Capcom? How the hell is Atari involved? It's because Atari is the company that scooped up Digital Eclipse. So now Digital Eclipse is under the Atari umbrella. So that's how Atari comes into play here. And I would imagine they've talked to Capcom and be like, let's do this. And there you go. So we don't know if there's gonna be any other extra features included in this for the Switch and Switch 2 release. But we know at the bare minimum it will have the 6 games that were part of it originally, which I already said. There's also boss rush and time attack modes, a new rewind feature to make it more accessible to newcomers, in-game museum that provides you with history on these games and these properties, concept art, music, all of that good stuff. So will be announced very shortly, I'm sure. And I'll give you all the details on when you can get it and how you can get it when those details are shared. Backfug says, what a wild thing to come back after nearly 10 years. I would absolutely buy it again. Well, there you go. Probably why they're doing it, because they're like, Nintendo fans never had a chance to get at this. And maybe there's others out there who bought it the first time around, but they're like, I'd like to have that portable. And now you can on Switch and Switch 2. So again, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this in the very near future. We don't need to do that. The Animal Crossing update is out, version 3.0, and the Switch 2 edition is also available. So there you go. Here's a rarity. He said right before he took a drink. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft shared a joint statement this week. I am looking at your stats in the chat, by the way, guys, and I like what I'm seeing a lot. You know what? I'll go and read some of them after this. Let me do this story first. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft put out a joint statement this week for their commitment to safer gaming. So all 3 companies are like, we need to do better to make gaming safer for everyone who plays games. And all 3 of the companies felt strongly enough about this to come together and put out a singular statement, which is pretty cool. It's a very long statement, but it covers a whole bunch of stuff. Cumulative, that's funny. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft continue to collaborate to improve player safety across our platforms. We believe gaming is for everyone and strive to provide experiences that are positive and enjoyable for all, especially for our youngest players. We work to accomplish this by pursuing a multidisciplinary approach, integrating advanced technology, research-driven insights, supportive community efforts, and skilled human oversight. So again, it breaks down a whole bunch of things. Prevention. Empower players and parents to understand and control gaming experiences. Partnership. Partner with industry peers, publishers, regulators, law enforcement, and communities to advance player safety. Responsibility. We hold ourselves accountable for making our platforms as safe as possible for all players. Those are the 3 categories. And then they break down how they will be doing that and how it operates on their systems, on the internet, on their ecosystems, and how they make games, all that stuff. So you can go read all that. It's all good stuff. It's all 100% good stuff. The only thing is it's important for them to actually see it through. And hopefully all 3 companies will hold each other responsible for all this stuff and work together to make gaming a safer environment for all, which is more important now than ever for a multitude of reasons. So very nice to see this out there. Let's just hope they follow through. Ozzy McBucket says, is this to explain the dispatch censorship? So again, since this came up, I'll mention it really quick. Dispatch on the Switch eShop here in North America, if you look at the Digital Deluxe Edition, I think that's what it's called. The artwork for that Digital Deluxe Edition is censored. There's like some cleavage is shown in one of the other images, and Switch it's not shown. There's some like a little bit of pubic hair popping out on one of the images, or one part of the image, and it's not shown on the one that's on the Nintendo eShop. So people have been like, does that mean the game is censored? I asked AdHoc, you know what, let me go back to my interview just so I could get you the exact quote because I don't want to misspeak. I asked AdHoc about this. I was like, can you talk about the artwork being censored, and does this mean the game is censored? We were told, quote, unfortunately, the studio cannot comment on the topic at this time, end quote. Along with that, it was said that if AdHoc is able to discuss the matter down the road, their comment would be shared with us. So that's what they said. But I want to put this out there to make sure you don't worry. Here's why you shouldn't worry. Chances of the game being censored in North America are very slim. We've seen instances in the past where, especially in the like 2025, this became a thing, really. I don't know what changed, but it seems like Nintendo, at least in America, is cracking down on forward-facing content on the eShop. So if you have a game where the artwork that promotes the game, or one of the screenshots that promotes the game, has something salacious in it or something extremely violent in it, Nintendo doesn't really want that on their forward-facing eShop because they're trying to keep people younger eyes safer, I guess. So you'd imagine that's the case. So anything overtly sexual or anything. And yes, there's still tons of hentai games on the eShop, but the forward-facing artwork, you know, as long as it's not risque or sexual or anything like that, then it's okay. But the games themselves remain uncensored, so I wouldn't worry there. Another thing I want to point out, Cyberpunk 2077 came to Switch too. That game has full-on nudity, extreme violence, sexual content. None of it was censored on the Switch too. So there you go. That's proof that you shouldn't have to worry because it's a very recent example. And then on top of all that, this was brought up by... I wanted to... Yes. Thanks to NicoDarunia. I'm going to guess that's how you say it. NicoDarunia on GoNintendo let us know that if you go on the European eShop and look at the Digital Deluxe Edition of Dispatch, the artwork is not censored there. So it very much seems like this is my opinion, the more puritanical approach of Nintendo of America has led to the artwork on the eShop being censored here. But that is why it is not censored over in Europe, because they're not as puritanical with that stuff. And Nintendo of America wasn't for a long time, but it seems like the pendulum is swinging in the other direction. But again, I would say do not worry about the game itself being censored. I don't like that the company didn't give me a statement, but it's probably because Nintendo doesn't want them talking about it at all. But We'll know for sure either if they put out a statement or when the game comes out. Hopefully we don't find out that way. But I would say I feel 90% confident that the game itself will not be censored. I think you'll be okay there. And if you haven't played Dispatch, the topic of censorship is one worth discussing because the game does have have a considerable amount of nudity and sexual content. There's a lot of violent stuff in there too, but specifically there is nudity and there's front-facing male nudity in the game multiple times. And there's topless women. Don't think there's any bottomless women, as in no, they're not wearing bottoms, not like they don't have legs, but yeah. So censorship would be notable and noteworthy because it's not just something you see in the game, but it plays into some of the storyline tidbits as well. So it's a discussion worth having. But again, my personal opinion is I don't expect the game to be censored. I wish we had a statement to confirm that, but based on everything else that I presented to you, now you make the decision on your own. But we'll find out one way or another. Yeah. Right, Josh? That's what you do. So there you go. You can read that joint statement from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in full to get the gist of everything that's going on there. And that's what led me to the Dispatch comment, and everything's come full circle. Now, I told you I would go into Discord and read your playtimes, and now I will because you were kind enough to share them. Top games for Ice Dilbert are Donkey Kong Bonanza, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Mario Kart World, with Animal Crossing being the number one. Cumulative spent 116 hours with Dragon Quest 11. Spent 172 hours with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 420 hours, 420 Blaze It, with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Tater Tot spent 37 hours with Pikmin 4, 47 hours with Donkey Kong Bonanza, and a whopping 75 hours with one of my favorites, UFO 50. Love to see that. Williams played 118 games and over 1,600 hours, 1,680 hours playing. And he says being able to play at work is kind of nice. Rotzel played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild as the third most played. Donkey Kong Bonanza as number 2, and Mario Kart World as number 1. So there you go. Your numbers are putting me to shame, people. You guys put up some numbers. But as you know, if I was playing, or as you might know, if I was playing Fortnite on my Switch or my Switch 2, that would be my number 1 with the bullet, because I play that multiple times every week, nearly every day, and put in at least an hour and a half, sometimes 3 hours a day. So numbers will be up there. Drake spent 63 hours with Power Wash Simulator 2, 158 hours with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and 256 hours with Fortnite. There you go. Another Fortnite fan out there. Thank you for sharing your stats, everybody. I appreciate it. Moving on. Not doing that. If you have a Switch Online account, we have our first Switch 2 online free game trial. So again, if you have the Switch Online account at no additional cost on your Switch 2, you can play Madden NFL 26. So you can play the whole game, everything it's got to offer. It's not a beginning to end thing because that's not how sports games work, but you can play Madden NFL 26 on your Switch 2 and enjoy every little bit of it. I want this goddamn chair that's across the table. I'm trying to reach it with my foot. Oh, I got it. I've been wanting to stretch my legs out and put them on this chair. Still got it, baby. Limber. So yeah, you got a Switch Online account, you got a Switch 2, you can play Madden from now until January 21st. You can use game chat, you can do it all. You can everything there. Also, your save data will progress to the full version of the game. That if you decide to purchase it. Also, on top of that, as an added bonus for a limited time, you can purchase the digital version of Madden NFL 26 on Switch 2 for 60% off. The sale ends January 25th. So try the free game trial. See if you like it. If you do, before the free trial goes away, you can go snatch the game for $60 or for 60% off, and all your save data continues over. And I believe Super Bowl is in February, right? That's when that happens. So it's no shock that Nintendo's promoting this game right now because football is very popular, and the biggest thing in football is right around the corner. Austin McBucket says, bummer, I bought this game already. Oh, well, I guess it's still 100 points for me. There you go. Look on the bright side of things. Not that. We have an update on sales stats for the Switch 2 over in Japan. Let's do this. The Switch 2 has managed to outsell the total install base of the GameCube. So this is probably shocking to some people. The GameCube, everybody listening to this podcast knows it. We love it. Not Nintendo's most successful system, of course, but still did better than some of the others, like Wii U and Virtual Boy. That's not saying a lot, but it did better than some of them. In Japan, the GameCube's total install base was 4.04 million sold. So, not the poor GameCube. It's because it was purple, as we've talked about before. 4.04 million units sold at a GameCube in its entire run in Japan. Now, the Switch 2 in Japan alone has already surpassed that. The Switch 2 has sold 4.09 million units since it launched back in June. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So 8 months roughly. The Switch 2 did in 8 months what it took the GameCube 5 years to do. So it's pretty good. So that's great to see. Sad for the GameCube, but great for the Switch 2. And hopefully the sales milestones keep coming and the previous tallies for Nintendo hardware keeps getting surpassed. Vinloria says, well, that was quick. Yeah, I agree. That was quick. Already knocking out another milestone like that. Very good for the Switch 2. We got a rumor for you. I'm getting parched. Hold on. Got a rumor. I didn't think we'd be talking about more Switch 2 hardware rumors already after we did years of, is the Switch 2 real? But here we are. Let you feel free to speculate and rumorize on this all you want. There's the Nintendo account portal website. And as all Nintendo fans know, there are certain Nintendo followers, Nintendo faithful out there who are eager to scrounge up any little tidbit about Nintendo that they can. They're snooping around everywhere, every corner of the internet, everything they can get their virtual hands on. They are looking to find out what Nintendo's doing next, be it a game, be it hardware, be it a movie, be it merch. They just want to know what's next. So Doot Sky over on Blue Sky is a Nintendo super fan. And they've been snooping around the Nintendo account portal website. And they made a discovery. Hiding on the site right now is a vectorized picture of what looks to be the Switch 2, more or less. And it has the model name OSM, just the letters OSM. Now, you may know, depending on how chronically Nintendo Online you are, that the code name for the Switch 2 was Ounce, as far as we know. So with the Nintendo account portal website hosting a Switch 2 model with the name OSM, some are speculating that this is for a new model of the Switch 2. The one that's gotten the most steam out there right now is Ounce Small Model, OSM, Ounce Small Model. But that's just speculation. So the facts are, this is on the website, and this has a picture of the Switch 2, and this has the name OSM. That's all the facts. Now, anything after that is speculation. Hold on, there might be one more fact. The other fact is, no other product codes have been found to spit out images on the Nintendo account portal website. So searching for OSM brings this thing up, but nothing else. No other product codes bring up anything undiscovered. Only this one. So that's your last fact. Now comes the speculation. Like I said, Ounce Small Model. People have been doing all OLED Switch model, like Switch 2 model. Like people are guessing what it stands for up and down, but all that's just speculation. But there's something there. It has a model name. We don't know why it's there. It's the only product code that does this. So all of that, it's factual. Now, does it mean something? Does it mean there's another Switch 2 model in the works? No, it doesn't, but it doesn't not mean that. We don't know what it means. It could be an old relic Nintendo left behind that they didn't know anybody was going to find, or it could be something they didn't want us to find and it was accidentally there and it does mean something. We don't know. I think it's very safe to speculate that Nintendo will do a revamped model of the Switch 2, be it an OLED, be it a light version or something else. Nintendo does that with their hardware. So yes, there will be a revamp of the Switch 2 at some point. And we'll see what it offers. Could somebody do a quick look for me and find out how long after the Switch Lite came out? Because that would probably give us an idea of when we could expect to see a revamped model of the Switch 2. But yes, speculation about a Switch 2 getting another model isn't crazy. Where you fall with all this speculation as to what this name means and if this discovery is pointing to something, that's up to you. I'm gonna choke. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Backfug says there's literally no feasible way they are planning any sort of hardware iteration because memory prices are ballooning out of control. Well, there could be cursory planning of it. You have to plan for when things normalize or get better. And it's, I'm sure, part of their planning in general is to be like, we'll put out the Switch 2, then a revamp, and then potentially another revamp. They have those cursory plans, but, rock solid plans, who knows what they have. But I'm sure they've done some modest planning about where things will go from here on out. But as far as the set in stone, I don't know. I don't know, but time will tell. Here's an update on, Ice Dilbert. I was thinking about that exact eShop game when I was talking about the censorship on the Switch eShop because I saw that one yesterday. So Ice Dilbert put a screenshot in a Discord of Anime Feet Girls, the Charm Finder quest. To show off the image that's on. Yes, there's a boys version of it too. I saw that too. To show off what's on the eShop. And again, we know these anime games are lewd or nude or hentai, so overtly sexual. But when it comes to the eShop image, they can't show overtly sexual content on there. And as much as feet are something people are into and is a kink for some people, you can show bare feet on the eShop forward facing because while the people who are into that kink or like bare feet find it appealing, let's just say, titillating, you can, a foot is a foot. It's not like what we consider traditionally parts of the body that you hide, like a dick or boobs or vagina or buttholes, or I feel like I was going crazy. Just name sexualized body parts. So that stuff you're not going to put in eShop images, but a foot's a foot. So until we keep running this kink into the ground and somebody's like, you shouldn't be showing feet like that. Feet are okay to show off on the eShop. So there you go. But anyway, Hi-Fi Rush. A long time ago, we heard rumors that Hi-Fi Rush was going to come to the Switch, and it never happened. But there's a whole thing about the company getting closed down, and then the brand getting snatched up, and then the developers coming back. A whole bunch of stuff happened there. So who knows whatever really happened with it. But it didn't come to be. And that was after we saw the game got a rating by PEGI, which is the European Ratings Board for Games. It was rated by PEGI, which means it's happening. But then all that other stuff came about and the game never released on Switch. Well, just this week, another PEGI rating popped up for a Switch version of Hi-Fi Rush. And this would make it the second one. But this time around, Krafton is the publisher, which is the one that holds the rights to Hi-Fi Rush now. So what it appears to be is the game was originally going to come out on Switch, and all the stuff happened with the developer and publisher, and we thought the company was dead, and then Krafton came in and revived it, and now Krafton is probably like, hey, remember you were going to do that Switch version of Hi-Fi Rush and it never came out? How about we get that out there? And then they had to get a new PEGI rating because they're the publisher now. So it seems like this is back on track. And when will we actually get to hear an announcement? Who the hell knows? But it seems like it is again happening. So if you were bummed that we were this close to getting it and then it all fell apart, it seems like we're back in action, baby. So expect an announcement soon. And hopefully that includes a Switch 2 version. Sticer says it's happening. But they're referring to the GIF because they say it's happening GIF. Excited to check this one out. Looks right up my alley. Well, hopefully you get the official announcement soon, my friend. We also have more Lego news. I should have done this with Pokemon. Lego and Nintendo revealed the Final Battle Ocarina of Time Lego set. So, just as the name indicates, it's a Lego representation of the final battle in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which I'm sure we all remember, where, you know, you're at Hyrule Castle and you got to run down Hyrule Castle and you have the big fight outside and all that stuff. Very cool fight. Very cool moment in Zelda history. And now you'll be able to enjoy it in Lego form. I'm sorry, 1,003-piece set, $130. Comes out March 1st. It includes Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf minifigs. It also includes Navi. She's not a minifig, it's just a Navi's in there. A brick-built Ganon. So, you know, Ganondorf is the guy. Or the Gerudo looking, you know, regular Gerudo. And then there's Ganon, which is the pig, warthog, whatever you want to call him, monster. So you get both versions, little Ganondorf, Gerudo Ganondorf, and then big Ganon. You get the Megaton hammer and recovery hearts as well. And then, you know, pieces of the castle too. You built the castle. So really cool. They put out a really awesome stop motion animation promo video for it. They can check out, but it is the real deal. The same day it was leaked, and then it became real within hours of the leak. So, or it became real. It was confirmed real hours after that. So go get in on that pre-order. $130, not too bad. It's not like you know, it's not like it's $650 or something. But you know, you're paying that for Blastoise, so I understand. Oh my God, Ice Dilbert put something in. This is a fan made thing on. What is it? Is this eBay? Yeah, it looks like eBay. 47,000 piece Hyrule Castle, full interior modular building. And it could be yours for $2,400 on eBay. Holy bajolies. Zeldude left a comment saying no longer a rumor. Yep, I realized that. I posted the rumor and then right after it was not a rumor. So I updated the story. There's that. We did that. And now, oh no. I'm planning in advance. Okay. Umami. Umami. The train's leaving the station. It's time for Rami Cowboys Umami releases for the year of our Lord 2026, the week of January 15th. The train is really taking off. On Switch 2 this week, we got Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 Edition, Beyblade Evo Battle or Evo Battle, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, Mio Memories in Orbit, which comes out on the 20th. There's a Switch 2 Edition for that. Overrogue Switch 2 Edition, The Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon Switch 2 Edition, and the Rumblefish 2 Switch 2 Edition. That comes out January 21st. What about if you're a regular Switch fan? Well, we got plenty for you too. Arcade Archives Touchdown Fever, Axis Football 2026, Battle Puzzle 2048, Queens of the Abyss, Big Game Bundle 10-in-1, Buninjutsu, Cassette Boy, City Bus Simulator, Cup Heroes Handful Bundle, Death Forest Remake, Dirt Racing Bundle Wild Tracks and Rally, Drachnik and Friends Puzzle Bundle, Driving World Collection, Ernest Evans Collection, which is also getting a physical release through Limited Run Games, Egg Console Mad Rider MX2 version, Emmy Live Show Demons and Mistress's Tale, Extreme Void, Is It True? Castle True or False Quiz. Is it true? Does anybody know what that's from? Is it true? Jewel Match Solitaire L'Amour, Kick It to the Stickman, Magic World, Mighty Arms, Milo's Dreams, Moto Championship. Oh, Radical Defect, you got it. Radical Defect knows what it's from. Moto Championship, Mr. Whiskers Bubbles. That's great. My Little Haven, Nature Escapes 5 Collector's Edition, Popper Lands Colony, Real Truck Simulator USA, and Ultimate 4x4 Off-Road and Real Car Driving Simulator Bundle. 3 games in one there. Storm Chasing Sim 2025, Tornado Hunter, Stray of Lost Cat, Super Chip Flake U, Quest for the Uncooked Schnitzel, Super Princess and Puzzle Collection, 18 games in one. Tenshinada, the Angel's Verse. Tenshi no Uta, the Angel Verse 2, the Fallen Angel. I see the orange emojis on Radical Defect's message, and a drink one too. So we got multiple people in there. What's up? Hi, Popple. I see you typing. Good to see you. The End of the Beginning of Courage, Reasoning, and Seaweed 10. Yeah, Popple, that's what I was thinking. A ripoff of Stray. Stray of Lost Cat is what it's called. Probably a ripoff. The Lab, Escape Room, The Murder Hotel, Voxel Panic, Wall of Insanity 2, and Word Quest Fantasy. Oh, get out of here. Humapar says, Umami. Thanks, RMC, for those delicious Umami releases. Now onto a sweet European frosty frozen dairy delight. Man, I wish MomBrain was here.
What are the next European masterpieces? Let's find out with Nicky's sweet releases.
Nikki Hill, when you speak your name, I will do what I can. Although I'll do it. What? This goddamn update. I'll do it quicker than you would because I dare not try and copy your style because it is unmimicable. Nikki Hill again, we speak your name. For the year of our Lord, European releases on eShop for the week of January 15th. Here's what is out for our friends across the pond. Switch 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 Edition. Beyblade Evo Battle Switch 2 Edition. The Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon Switch 2 Edition. These are some great gifts. And Overrogue Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. Popple says, dang, Josh, you still got those vocals even after all these years. Josh never lost it, and he never will.
I'm feeling so great.
There you go.
Thanks for asking.
Feeling the best. Switch players, what do you got? Anime Girls, cheerful cosplay. That's how cosplay should be, cheerful. Should have fun doing it. A Planet of Mine, Mastermind Edition. Battle Puzzle 2048, Queens of the Abyss. Battle Tanks, Animal Wars. Big Hops, there's that platformer I was talking about. Biplanes, Buninjutsu, Cassette Boy, Cozy Caravan, Desperote, which has been available in America for a while, but now in Europe. Seems like it should have gone to Europe first. It's about soccer, football. They're bigger fans over there. Give it to them. Direction Quad, Ernest Evans Collection, the MSX2 version of Mad Rider, part of the Egg Console Collection. Emmy Live Show, Demons and Mistresses Tale, Eradicator Genesis, Extra Poison NS, Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic, Go-Kart Island, Heart of Crown, Is It True? Castle True or False Quiz, Jelly and Toast, Kajora, Liar, and the Train of the Seasons, The Legend of Heroes, Trails Beyond the Horizon, Mega Monk, almost, or Mega Monk, I guess I'm supposed to say, but they want you to think of Mega Bonk, the other big hit on Steam. Minesweeper Classic, Motel Business Simulator, Moto Championship 26, Mr. Whiskers Bubbles, My Little Haven, Paw Sky, Shaky Cubes, Sheriff Park Ranger, Storm Chasing Sim 2025, Tornado Hunter, Stray of Lost Cat, Temi Rana, The Lucky Princess and the Tragic Knights, Tenshinada, The Angel's Verse, Tenshi no Uta, The Angel Verse 2, The Fallen Angel. Oh, we got Monk dancing in the chat now. Because of Mega Monk. You're good. You're good. I'm slow and you're good. The Secret Workshop of Wishes, Train Your Brain, Spot the Difference with Photos, Vaccine Case. I got to check my email about Vaccine Case. Sounds like I got an illness or something. Water Park Simulator 2025, Wizard 101, Word Quest Fantasy, and finally Christmas Bubble Mania X Miss. That's how you have to type it. Right on time for Christmas. Sticer says, always like to end my feast with a little sweetness. Thanks, Nikki. Well, as you're standing Nikki Hill, I'll make sure he gets that message. And there are your sweet releases. Now, in the interest of slowing the show down, I say, oh, thank you. Virus. What did I say? What's the name of it? Virus. Some company. All right, so it wasn't that game. Some company sent me like an insane amount of codes for their game. This goddamn. You mother fudger. They sent me an insane amount of codes for their game. Like there were like 50 codes in there. I got to go back in and see what game what game it was so I could give you guys the codes. I'd love to do it right now and figure it out, but I know that's going to lead to a lot of dead air. I'm going to type in just codes. Let's see if it comes up. Is this it? Nope. All right, I'm not going to do this to you because it's not fair. So I'll look it up later and we'll get to it next week. I keep wanting to look at my email because there's stuff in there. Vaccine, that's what it was. Yes. We processed your payment. Oh, thanks for joining me. We got a new Patreon member. Thank you, Lucas. Joined
for $1.
Thank you, Lucas. Very much appreciated. I hope you have a great time over there. Vaccine. Let's search the word vaccine. Nope. All right, I'll look later. I'm officially done this time, I promise. Okay, now let's talk about what we played. What we play, MomBrain. Oh, she's not here. What we play, Nikki Hill. Oh, he's not here. What we play, Do. Animal Crossing New Horizons, because it is new. What did I play? Let me tell you. Thanks for asking. I played more Fortnite, as always. I play with friends. I play with family. I always have fun. We had a good time. Won some games, lost some games. Not happy that they took away the shock waves. I don't know why they're gone. So you have the bounce pads. And thanks, Red Souza. Thanks for asking. You have the bounce pads and the launch pads or whatever. You know, we don't call anything by their real names. So I don't know what real names are in the game. And you have the wingsuit in there. So wingsuit is like your real traversal if you're trying to get away from somebody. But shockwaves were helpful too, and they took them out. I don't know why they took them out. So that's a bummer, but it's Fortnite. I always have fun with Fortnite. I have a blast. What's her face just joined Fortnite as a skin with a whole bunch of other stuff too. I'll go to the shop to tell you. Kazuna, that's her name, right? Yeah, Kazuna AI is available in Fortnite right now. If you're a fan of that VTuber, you can get their skin or an emote or weapon wraps and a whole bunch of other stuff. There's also Adventure Time stuff in there. So yeah, playing Fortnite, love Fortnite, always a blast. I'll probably end up playing tonight. And I only played one other thing because as I said last week, I finished this batch, and I was playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I was playing both of those at once, and now that I finished Dispatch, I was like, well, let me just focus on Clair Obscur and I'll finish that up. So I played only Clair Obscur this week outside of Fortnite, and I'm very much enjoying that. I'm like 18 hours into it. I can tell you I'm on the island where you're going to fight. I don't remember what the thing is called, but you're going to fight this thing that I guess is going to be a whole bunch of masks put together, but you can go around the island and fight masks individually to weaken the big thing that you're going to fight. So I'm doing that. I love the battle system. It's a ton of fun. It has some nice music, but I still don't get all the praise for the soundtrack. I don't think there's bad songs in it. I just don't think there's anything where I would be like, oh my God, the music's incredible. But that's just me. There's nice songs in there, definitely. Are you joining me?
I finished shot.
Wow.
My face is a little frozen. Just give me a minute.
How'd it go?
It was fine.
Sounds like you got anesthesia.
Like when I had that root canal?
Yes. So that's where I am, and like I said, I really like the battle system. I see Popple asking, do you still hate the French? I knew when I talked about that last week it was going to come off the wrong way, and I know you're joking. It's fine. Hi, Darmani. Good to see you. The queen has entered, says Darmani.
Ooh.
The queen has arrived. I know you're joking and it's funny and do it all you want. I mean that. But just to be clear, I don't want to come off the wrong way. I don't hate the French people. I don't hate French anything at all. The French are lovely people and they have lovely arts and contributions to the world of art. Just there's a certain French aesthetic that isn't for me. Like the characters, not the humans in Clair Obscur, but like the and not most of the monsters, but there's the paintbrush characters. I forget what they're called, but I just don't like their whole aesthetic. And there's the big like balloon guy. I don't know how to describe it. He's very French to me, and I don't find it aesthetically pleasing, but I don't have to, and it doesn't ruin a game for me. I can look at something in the game and be like, I don't like the way that looks. It doesn't click for me, but it doesn't ruin my enjoyment of the game at all. I very much enjoy the game. So I just, it's like looking at a piece of art and being like, I can really appreciate that art, but personally speaking, I just don't like the way it looks, but I appreciate what
I
it's
appreciate
doing,
all that went into
and
it.
I appreciate that it
yeah.
exists, and yes, all that. Art isn't made just for me. It's made for everybody. I can have an
Kevin,
opinion on
you're
it.
what the French call les
Very
incompetents.
good. I can look at a piece of art and say, I don't find that pleasing, or I do find that pleasing. But on a grander scale, I can say, I very much appreciate that this art exists and is doing something. And everything isn't made just for me to enjoy. It doesn't have to be for my tastes. So for my tastes, some of the designs in this game don't do it for me, but they don't have to, and it doesn't it doesn't ruin my enjoyment of the game at all. Popple, you're very funny. Popple says, I just listened to that bit yesterday on the last podcast. And they said they couldn't stop laughing. And Popple goes on to say, the French are fine, but they disgust me, speaking as me. I'm fine with the French. I just hate them. That's all that there is to it. Proof that RMC likes French things, and I still put in a picture of Micro Magic French fries, and that is the truth without a doubt. So there you go. So I'm playing that game and really liking it. The game. I don't know if it's just the Xbox version or not, but there are multiple moments where you hear the voice dialogue and the cutscenes are not synced up with it. And they're off by just enough to be annoying, and it ruins that experience for me. And there's moments where it's fine and everything's synced up perfectly, but others where I'm like, what's going on in this cutscene? Everybody's just slightly out of sync, and it's frustrating me. And there's little moments where the game just has some technical hiccups. And it's to the degree where I'm like, I'm surprised so many people were like, this is my game of the year. I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. I think it's a great game. And I think, again, the battle system is phenomenal and I love it. But there's little issues here and there for me where I'm like, would I make this a game of the year? Potentially, like nominated as game of the year, or say this is one of my game of the years. But I'd be on the fence about it. I'd be like, there's elements holding it back, but to each their own. But for it to be like game of the year so strongly for a whole bunch of people and at the Game Awards, I'm like, surprise. I'm not saying it is unworthy. I'm just saying there are elements to it where I'm surprised that it got to that degree of praise. And I sadly think a lot of it is like people haven't experienced JRPG mechanics in a game before. Yes, Popple, it's only on PlayStation and Xbox. Maybe it's on PC. I don't know. But I'm thinking a lot of people haven't played JRPGs before because they don't like the anime or Japanese aesthetic. Just like I hate the French, they hate the Japanese. So they play Clair Obscur, which is very heavily JRPG influenced in its battle system. And they're like, oh my God, this battle system's so much fun. And I'm getting characters that look realistic. This is amazing. And I want to be like, this is great. And I love it. But like, this is very much taking from JRPGs. And to have like this kind of reaction, I just, again, think a lot of people completely ignore JRPG stuff because they don't like the look or the style. And then they get something that is very much in that style gameplay wise, but gives them a quote unquote realistic approach, at least as far as the human character goes and their human characters go. And they're like, this is fantastic. So I personally think that's a bit of a bummer, but also that's just my own speculation. I don't know. But my time with Clair Obscur is great. I very much enjoy it. I could eat that battle system up all day long and never get full. It's just a lot of fun to do. As I've said before, there's the dodge and the parry. Dodge is easier to do than parry. Parry gets you more benefits, but you don't have to do parry to win. I did fight an optional boss last night where you don't get to do traditional attacks. The boss just keeps hitting you. And the only way to do damage is to parry every single move. Because if you parry every move in a string of moves, the last move, if parried, lets you do a counterattack. And that's the only way to damage the enemy. So you have to perfect parry every time on this boss. And it started out with something where I was like, well, this is never happening too. I don't know. I think I could do this too. I actually beat it. It took me like probably 25 minutes, but I was like, boom, 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 hitting the parries every time, and I nailed it, and I kept all my party members alive, and I was like, I am on top of the world right now. So that was a really satisfying end right there of my play session last night, but loving it. We'll probably play more tonight. It's a lot of fun. Very enjoyable game. MomBrain, I fake asked you what you played, and you weren't here, but now I will ask you for real what you played.
I didn't play anything, but I did learn something really cool yesterday that I'd love to share with the class. Is that okay with you?
You go right ahead.
Yesterday, I went to the Museum of Natural History in New York, and then I went to the opera. It was a very fun day. But while I was at the Museum of Natural History, I went to visit the dinosaurs, of course. And cumulative. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's cumulative says is quoting MomBrain. It says clears throat and approaches the microphone. I didn't play anything. There you go. That's right.
So I go to visit the dinosaurs, and there's a T-Rex, and it's really, really cool.
I understand.
And I'm with my friend Kendra, and I have like a laughing fit over the actual like visual, like real seeing in real life how tiny T-Rex arms are, right? Like I know that's a thing, but like to just really see it in this like really serious scientific kind of way, it just really struck me. And I like embarrassed Kendra a little bit because I had a laughing fit.
And might I add?
So, I mean, I kept it quiet and demure, as quiet and demure as I could. So there's a man who's a volunteer for the museum, and he has like a button on that says fossil expert, like a big red button.
I understand.
So I'm like, I look at Kendra and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go talk to him about this because like from an evolutionary perspective, like why do they have arms if there's like nothing they can do with them? So I asked the guy, and I think he was a little bit like, I don't know. He wasn't as enthusiastic about my question as I was. So
yeah, because you laughed at the dinosaur.
I didn't laugh at the dinosaur. I laughed at the absurdity of the whole thing. So I'm like, well, why they got arms? And he goes, well, what you're looking at here is the skeleton of an adult Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I was like, okay. And he said, you have to remember that's a one-bite predator. And I was like, oh, okay. He said when that was a juvenile, perhaps its arms were more functional in like helping it get around and do what it needed to do. But as it grew up, it didn't need those arms anymore because it's a one-bite predator. You know, the only thing that is a danger to an adult T-Rex is another adult T-Rex. And I was like, all right, cool. So kind of like nipples in humans. And he was like, kind of gave me a look, and he looked right at my boobs because I said nipples.
You know, you say that often. Somehow you find multiple conversations to relate to kind of like nipples. You say that a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
I made that connection in my head that, right, like everybody.
You make a connection to nipples all the time.
So like your nipples develop before like your gonads develop, right? So like everybody's got them, but really only female nipples are meant to be functional. So that's kind of like what I was relating it to. And he was like, well, no, it just doesn't need them as it gets bigger. And I was like, well, I mean, that's kind of a liability, right? To have these like two arms dangling that like could get injured or whatever. And he was like, again, there is nothing really dangerous to an adult T-Rex except for another adult T-Rex. I mean, he was nice enough, but I was like, okay, sir, I'm going to go away. So then we went back through like another section of the museum and came back out, and it was maybe like 10 minutes and the guy was gone, and Kendra was like, you scared him
He went
away.
home. He's like, I don't want to deal with this lady.
And I was like, if I had seen him, I would have been like, hey, I've been thinking about what you said about T-Rex arms, and I had a few follow-up questions. But that's what happened. It was a very, very cool thing. And if anybody has any more information on why Tyrannosaurus Rex even has arms anyway, I'd love to hear it.
There you go. That's what MomBrain didn't play once again. Although I'm sure she played something. I'm sure she played bingo, and you won't even mention it. Bingo.
Yeah, I guess I did play bingo.
Yep, I know. All right, let's do questions. Send your questions to goninpod@gmail.com.
Where?
goninpod@gmail.com.
Maybe I will.
It can be about Nintendo video games in general or whatever the hell you want. NicoDarunia asks, and no, you're not crazy. NicoDarunia sent in a whole bunch of questions. So that's why he's been riding the question wave lately. And I appreciate it. So thank you, NicoDarunia. Dear podcast crew, from which side should a banana be peeled? MomBrain, you're the banana eater in this house. I am not a banana person. I don't like bananas.
I don't have a hard and fast rule either way, but I actually like what I think many people would consider upside down. So like the stem part that attaches to the bunch is I would make that the bottom and open it from kind of the butthole end, the pucker end.
But I've seen everything.
And why? I would like to know why.
I think they're easier to eat that way, and I think it gives you like something better to hold on to at the end.
There you go. From the #1 banana expert on the GoNintendo podcast, MomBrain has given you the definitive answer.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but my teacher friend was a zoologist, and she said that's how monkeys peel them.
Wrong.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I have no dog in this fight. I have no monkey in this fight because I don't eat bananas and I don't like bananas. And I can't even tell you the last time I peeled a banana. So I got nothing for you.
Peel banana.
Peel the avocado. Guacamole. Guac, guacamole. Guacamole. We also have a Patreon question. MomBrain, did you know that you could join the GoNintendo Patreon
For a
$1.
dollar.
for $1? Fluffernutter did, and they asked this question. Papa wants to know, how does a T-Rex peel a banana?
There's no way they can.
Fluffernutter asks, if you all started competing professionally in an esports setting, what game would you want it to be? Who would be your dream sponsor? Well, dream sponsor is easy. Pizza Hut, right off the bat. Boom. Give me Pizza Hut 100%.
Yeah.
Now, dream game. So a game that I'm actually going to be, I'm not going to be able to compete realistically in anything, but something where, man, what would I want? That's tough. Like something where I think I could put up some kind of fight. Oh, man, I really don't know. Part of me, it's not true. It's not, none of this is true, but I remember.
Come on. None of it's true.
I think it was Unreal Tournament 2000. But specifically the mode where I've talked about it before, where it was like a sport. You carried a ball through a goal or you shot it through the goal. It was a hoop. And it'd have to be one shot kill only and low gravity. If I could do the sport with the ball, low gravity, one shot kills on one particular map, it was a canyon. I remember the canyon map. If I could compete specifically in that, and I know this isn't true, part of my brain thinks I could at least put up a fight, because I remember I poured so many hours into that and I loved it. And I remember pulling off amazing shots and amazing goals and running and weaving my way through. And again, I know it would not be true in real life, but in my brain right now, that is what I'm thinking. I can feel like the itch being scratched and me being able to do something there. So
I think you're the best of us. I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, this is
you're
you.
our
What are you
best bet.
picking?
I stand no chance at anything.
How about Suica game?
Maybe.
When are you going to play that new Suika game, by the way?
I don't know.
It's out right now. It's $3.
I'm too tired for life.
It's Suika game.
Doesn't matter.
You just drop the
Nope.
fruit into the
I
sphere.
have to be awake.
Watermelon.
I have to be awake for it. I'm seriously considering just going to bed after this.
You did bed already. So much bed today.
And I woke up at like noon and then went back to bed from 1 until whenever you saw me.
I guess you got up early and then went back to bed, but you got up and you're gonna, I
No.
mean, whatever. If you want to go back to bed, go back to bed. But this is crazy.
I know. I mean, I went to bed late because I got home late, but still.
Yeah, you went to bed at 1:30, let's say.
No, it was like almost 3
That's
because I
not-
took a shower and
It was not 3. You're a liar.
it was like
all right. So let's say
2:30.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 9 hours. And
Yeah.
you got up and then went back to bed and got up after 3.
I know.
Ma'am, your excuse?
Perimenopause?
Okay, I'll allow it. So MomBrain doesn't know what game and
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would have to be some kind of like
esports Animal Crossing. First to pay off Tom Nook.
maybe Nintendogs. How many tricks can you teach your dogs?
Poofle and Shino.
Oh, Sean.
Look at Sean in that bed. I still
Oh.
read that's so cute.
Piper was in bed with me when I woke up before.
Thank you, Radical Defect. Radical Defect says, I'm going to be the #1 esports champion at Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles because I soloed that game when I should have 4 people. And history makes me look like the bad guy. But I'm the one that saved the world.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for that question, Fluffernutter. Oh, what's your sponsor? You'd probably know that. QVC.
Oh my god.
Right? It'd be amazing. Wear QVC patches on your arms and stuff, like picture of David and
And they would sell merch with me on
Yep,
it.
yep.
And special, yeah. And like I would have David be my coach. He'd
Mhm.
come out and like blot my forehead. Ooh, Popple, you're
American Girl
right.
dolls.
American
Pop-
Girl doll babies.
Yeah. Oh, look at those 2 cats. Thank you for that. And then we are not doing music. I know people are going to eat me alive, but MomBrain wasn't here for most of the show, and it's just me, and I don't like doing it. So again, send your mean comments and emails to me. I can take it, but no music. And then that's it. We're at the end of the show.
We
Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. And
wait. I'm sorry. What? Hold on, Ramin. I'm so sorry, everyone. This just in. Deux views. It's never news. Rumor of the week featuring Deux Michaels.
thought it was starring.
Deux, we speak your name. Spiders and Flies, we speak your names. So
It's like a real Deux view.
you
Don't relax. We're not done yet.
I'm sorry, the communications are unclear. So here's the deal, everybody.
Oh, beautiful.
We got word from our Spiders and Flies that this week's rumor is actually not a rumor. It is in fact true.
Wow.
Meow.
This is an honor.
Yeah.
I wish Deux was here for it, but at least, at least this is in his name. So that's good.
Yeah. So in the very unlikely collab
Just a moment.
that we never knew we needed. The Museum of Natural these pets. The
MomBrain,
Museum of
please.
Natural History is actually teaming up with the people who made the game Diner Dash. And you play as a Tyrannosaurus Rex with very small arms.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare.
Exactly. You
How
tell
did they
that to the
deliver
fossil
food?
expert.
They just drop it on the table?
Look, I don't make the news. I just report on it. I mean,
Okay.
this is just in. It's just from the Spiders and Flies. So,
No way. I don't believe it.
so here's hoping that we get better details as time goes on. But that's the true rumor of the week this week. Is that
game fun?
I don't know.
Is the game fun?
Spiders, flies. Well, you heard it here first.
The game is fun.
That's what they said. So
Thank you,
I
MomBrain. This is
apologize too
amazing.
for not doing your section of the podcast justice.
Papa
but
says this doesn't seem real.
Yep.
It was real. You heard it first time ever.
Yeah.
And that's all we got. Remember, if you stick around for the after show on YouTube, I'll talk a little bit about that anime. But as for our regular show, I gotta actually like do something now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. 2:32 for a solo show. Pretty damn good. And that's it. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
After show. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, I promise, but I will tell you, as I said before, when I watch anime and a new season is coming out, I make a list of everything that looks interesting to me. I watch trailers, I read synopses, and I can't watch everything. I only have so much time, but I try and pick a good amount. But always there's something that slips through the cracks or something that I thought or it didn't catch my attention and ends up getting a lot of attention online afterwards. So I always add to my list. So I'm telling you about one in particular. I will say that I've added to my list Yoroi Shinden, which is very fun. Shiboyugi, which is crazy, but in a good way. Scum of the Brave, which I wasn't intending to watch, and I've only watched one episode so far, but it's enjoyable. And then the one I've been holding off on is it's on Crunchyroll. First episode is out, and that's it. It's called You and I Are Polar Opposites. It is a comedy romance anime, and most romance or comedy romance anime involve two characters who like each other or one who likes the other, and they spend episode and episode and episode like hinting at maybe they'll get together and something will happen. And I like all that stuff. That's fine. But You and I Are Polar Opposites. It's a bit different. There is a girl who likes a guy, and I guess it's spoiler because it's the first episode. By the end of the first episode, she admits to him that she loves him and she's all about him. And it seems like they're going to be together. So it'll be about their relationship actually and figuring it out. But it's a romance comedy anime. It is legit funny. It is filled with so much personality. And the English dub is stellar. Everybody in the dub does a fantastic job, but the main character, her voice actor, is so incredible. She brings energy and humor and just so much to the role. It's one of the best dubs I have ever heard. It is perfectly nailed. I love Don Don's dub. Like, I think that dub is stellar.
Yeah.
I would say just based on the first episode, this is better. At least if I'm looking at the main character perspective, this is better. Whoever's doing the main character is great, but everybody else is killer. And the humor is translated perfectly. And it's follows high school kids. Obviously, it's a demo, or it's a demo. It's an anime. But the way they make the kids talk, they speak how kids talk now. And it's so good. It's so good. So if you're up for a romance comedy anime that will genuinely make you laugh and you're open to dubs, I suggest you check it out. You and I Are Polar Opposites. Also, it has a very impressive intro. The intro like breaks the fourth wall in a number of ways and how it's done. I watched the intro and I was like, this is a really cool intro. So one episode in, who knows if it's going to fall apart after that, but the first episode, loved it. So glad I saw people talking about it and I added it to my list. Very eager to see more of it. So check that out. Roth says, wait, the new Yorai Shinden is out? If you're being serious, yes, it is out. I didn't know it was out, and I had an interest in watching it, and I tried to find that if it was even going to get released subtitled here, and I couldn't get a definitive answer. Then thankfully, randomly on TikTok, I saw that somebody was watching it, so I caught it like 4 days after the first episode came out. So it's 2 episodes deep now, and I really like it. It's fun. It's very of all the anime I'm watching right now, it reminds me of the vibes of like a Saturday morning cartoon. It's a little more adult than that because there is blood and it's somewhat violent. but it just has like a very Saturday morning cartoon feel to it, and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's not crazy good or anything, but it is fun, and I really like the look of it too. Like the way it's drawn. It's drawn like it's got a style close to My Hero Academia Vigilantes. It's got that style. I really like it. Thick, like dark lines and very colorful. But yeah, there you go. That's all I'm gonna do because I could talk forever about anime. So thank you if you stuck around for the after show, but we're done here. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Play some games, rest, relax. What did I say? Rest, relax. You deserve it. And we'll see you next week, hopefully with more people and good weather. So that's it. MomBrain, you're going to have to do the do kiss.
You got it.
So that's all we got. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.